Thing's just spinning.
There we go.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Good morning.
You had to, son of a... Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Friday morning edition of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. How's everybody? Are we having just the loveliest of days, I hope? I hope that everybody's doing well. I hope that you're all jacked up about championship weekend in the land of college football. Why am I just not ready for any of this today? I'm just not ready for any of it.
That's not on me. I mean, that's wake up, dude.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. It's a weird. I don't know if it's, we've rolled into the month of December now. I literally realized that 18 seconds before we came on the air.
Or we worked a solid week, and it's Friday.
It does
it's
feel like the first full 5-day week we've worked in 3 to 6 years.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and was like, why isn't it Saturday? But I got to get up and get ready for a wonderful 4 hours of morning sports radio. Award-winning radio.
Yeah, it is. Plenty more awards down the road. 18 seconds before we came on the air, I was a wee bit behind this morning in getting my entire life together. And so I'm sitting here popping the title of the stream into our little hosting client so that we could go ahead and send images of ourselves to the entire world via the series of tubes and cables that is the internet. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And when it came time to type in the date and I hit November 31st,
yeah,
and then went, wait a minute, that's 5 on the week, Lonzo.
Yeah, but I didn't do it at all yesterday, so that was good.
When I realized it's December, it was a slap in the face, man. Like this is it. Last month of the year. We're done already. We celebrated New Year's last week.
Well, some of you did. How did I celebrate New Year's? I was thinking about, what was the worst moment of this last year? And it had to be as the ball was dropping. I don't know if that technically was in last year or this year, that the bad field goal. So
it was Schrodinger's kick. It was both existent in 2023 and not at the same time.
So this year is probably the fastest year of your life, Rob.
I'm not going to lie. March is 4 years that I have been here. 4 years makes March. And every time that we have one of these moments where a clock rolls over or a calendar rolls over, it just kind of just blows me away for a brief second. And yeah, it's December already. There's really nothing else for me to say about it except what the hell? How?
It's almost Christmas. It's been a wonderful year.
By the way, you may all begin celebrating Christmas now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Happy to help. Happy to do it.
I waited for this day for the arbiter of Christmas to decide that it was okay.
You do so only on the expressed written authority and consent of the Queen of Christmas and myself. You may all celebrate Christmas starting today. All right? The trees can go up today. The garland, the wreaths, they can all go up today if you are ready.
Well, the Queen begs to differ with you if she indeed is the Queen, because she was unpacked from the ice, like the day after Halloween. So
we have got a show lined up for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about on the radio program over the course of the next 4 hours of sports talk entertainment. Clemson has made some coaching staff adjustments. And I got to tell you, I really like one. One of them I'm kind of iffy so on. But I think we got to give a lot of credit to Dabo because he is making adjustments. He is making changes primarily at the spots where the team was the weakest this year. So I'll tell you which two coaches are out at Clemson and how that impacts the 2024 campaign later on in the show. We got to continue with the discussion about the news yesterday for the Gamecocks of South Carolina as Antoine Juice Wells has gone ahead and made the announcement that he is out. He will, in contrarianismness to his tweet from earlier this week, well, I guess last week, when going into the Clemson game, he put out a tweet that said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back next year, except for, oops, my bad. That's not true at all, actually. So what does this mean? What does this mean for Shane? What's it mean for the Gamecocks? We're going to address this at length later on in the radio broadcast. The Dallas Cowboys get a 41-35 win over the Seattle Seahawks last night. For Seattle, it was the first loss for Pete Carroll where his team scored 35 points or more. 37 in a row had Pete Carroll won when his team got to 35. That was the first L he's taken at that benchmark. And my question is Dallas now elevated into the Philly, San Francisco, Kansas City conversation? Because as much as we have had discussions about, you'll notice there is one team I did not mention in that group. You'll notice there is one team that I did not throw into that discussion, and that is the Miami Dolphins. And the reason I did not throw the Dolphins in there is because the Miami Dolphins have by and large struggled against teams that are 500 or better. The Dolphins are 8-3, but they took an L to the Chiefs. They took an L to the Eagles. They took an L to the Bills, and every other team that they played at the time was 500 or below, and those are all the games that they've won. Well, the Dallas Cowboys are now 9-3. The Dallas Cowboys are now a game off the Philadelphia Eagles because they did have the 28-23 loss to the Eagles 5 weeks ago. But they've got the Eagles coming up this weekend. And it's at home, where the Cowboys have won 14 consecutive at this point. Longest active NFL home winning streak. But every win that the Cowboys have, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Commanders, the Panthers, the Giants, the Rams, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Jets, the Giants. They don't have a win over a winning team.
Wow, what a record. I mean, wouldn't you love to play those teams? That's a
Sure.
schedule right there.
It was. Here's their next four, Zoe. Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. That's the next four for Dallas.
Well, they could get the Bills, maybe.
I don't know. The Bills just gave the Eagles hell.
Maybe the Lions. I'm saying maybe. I'm not saying definite.
Maybe. That's a big one. The Lions game is the day before New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. That one's interesting to me because I do think the Lions are going to be fighting for their lives at that point. I think they've already coasted to the division title, but they are going to want to bump up in seed and prove they belong there. The Dallas Cowboys have one game remaining at this point that is against a team that is below 500. The Bills are 500 at 6-6. But last week, and again, maybe it's a play up, play down to the competition. Last week, the Dallas Cowboys took the Philadelphia Eagles to the limit in overtime, right? And frankly, missed a couple of throws that should have won them the game.
The Bills did.
The Bills, yeah, sorry. The Bills took the Eagles to overtime, took them to the limit last week. If that team truly is back, if there was something going on behind the scenes, because remember, we told you on the show, Josh Allen spent a week going, I'm back. And then he came out, went for 339, 3 tutties, and took the Super Bowl runners up to the stretch. Now the Eagles are coming down to Dallas. We get to find out if they're real. And I'll tell you, there's a little part of me that goes, uh-oh, because late in that game last night, we're closing in on the 2-minute warning. The Dallas Cowboys had an opportunity in that game to run the ball twice and then kick a field goal. And instead, on 3rd and 7, instead of going back-to-back runs to try to pick up 7 yards, on 3rd and 7, Mike McCarthy has Dak Prescott throw a fade to the corner of the end zone. Why? Like, even if it works, that's a stupid play call.
Because no one would see it coming. That's why you do that.
No one sees it coming, because even if you're lined up in a jumbo run defense, that's a bad call. Because if anything at all goes wrong, now all of the sudden you find yourself in 4th and 7 and you have 2 options. Either you got to throw it again to pick up the first down, or you got to go ahead and kick it to extend the lead. And you've just given Seattle 40 free seconds. That's the type of coaching decision that has had to be, for the past few years, overcome by the Dallas Cowboys. That's the type of play calling out of Mike McCarthy that's got people wondering if he is the dude or not. That's the type of play call that's got people looking at this team and going, man, if they had a top-notch coach, if they had a top-flight coach, what would this team look like? If they had a top-flight coach, this team might be exceptionally good. Exceptionally good. And they don't. It's just, it's that decision after that decision after that decision from Mike McCarthy, and it's kind of getting old, if we're being honest with each other. Like, it's kind of getting frustrating at this point. All right, we'll talk more Dallas. We'll talk more NFL later on in the radio broadcast. We, in this hour of the show, have got to dive right in, because we have 5 Power 5 conference championship games that we need to discuss. They begin this evening with the Pac-12 championship game. The Oregon Ducks, the Washington Huskies. And yes, I do fully and firmly believe that the winner of this game is going to the playoffs. Regardless of who it is, the winner of tonight's contest is going to the NCAA college football playoffs. Whether it's Washington or Oregon. If it's the Huskies, obviously, they will be an undefeated champ of arguably the best conference in college football this year. If it is the Oregon Ducks, they will have a win over an undefeated Power 5 team and are already the highest ranked number 1 seed in one loss seed in college football. So this game tonight is enormous, and I would like to spend a few minutes breaking it down with you. We got to get into the SEC championship game, not just because it's the SEC championship game. Nick Saban, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, said that regardless of the outcome of the game, if the SEC is left out of the college football playoffs, if the SEC does not have representation in the college football playoffs, Lonzo, it would be disrespect. Don't lose to Texas, Nick. Don't lose to Texas. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the radio broadcast. We have got a lot to get into. We are going to be slammed up busy for all 4. I also have to announce, and this makes me sad, Zoe, the death of the quad box. We had a good run with the quad box. We had a real good time with the quad box, but the quad box is dead. The first Saturday where we are not loaded up with college football from noon to night. And I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, this is the first Saturday where I don't have any personal interests in anything that's going on. I got work interests, but no personal interests. I'm gonna watch football because I have to. But when your team's not there anymore, you find other stuff to do.
I just love football. I just love the football. Also,
The best game of the week, you said, comes on tonight. So I mean,
definitely. Well, no, I don't know. Alabama, Georgia is probably the best game of the week. Michigan. Let me put it this way.
Washington, Oregon.
Michigan, Iowa's going to be a snoozer. Texas, Oklahoma State's going to be a snoozer. Florida State, Louisville is going to be a real good game, just between the least of the teams available.
I think you could say the national championship is decided tonight.
I don't think so. I think the national championship.
Both those teams are more impressive than Georgia. They just are. Georgia just wins. I mean, they're just bland. They're boring. Yeah, they did it a couple years. It's just boring. You don't think Georgia is boring?
I don't think Georgia is as exciting as they've been in years gone by.
Which would make them boring compared to last year or the year before.
I think Georgia's entertainment value is them just kicking the crap out of everybody consistently.
But they don't do that anymore.
Right.
They just But
that doesn't make it boring. That just changes the way we look at it. I want to come back to this. I also want to get into a conversation that Lonzo brought up to me right before we exited the Fortress of Nerditude to enter the studio this AM. But we can't talk about it right now because I got to go get the glasses. It's important stuff. I am Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo's over on that side of the metaphorical glass. We are stocked, locked, and loaded for all four today. The first quarter underway. Let's talk college football. It's championship weekend, baby. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Got a live read? Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, everyone. And Joe, I saw on the list, and I'm guessing it's true that we have the Moving the Chains guys on later on in the program to talk high school. So you should be covered. Unless it was on the list erroneously.
Erroneous. Ow.
You need a splint or
No, I got shot.
medical attention? Okay, all right. Did your finger go dead? Is this hanging there?
Woo! So you can just lead the show off with that. Feel much better.
Good morning.
No! Knew it as soon as I said it. Damn it. As soon as I said it. I went over to get the glasses. I forgot to get the glasses. I walked over there specifically to get the glasses. Instead, grabbed the Diet Coke, forgot the glasses.
All right, so you've made a habit lately of being on the X and talking about the olds.
I'm one of them now.
Would you like me to go get your glasses for you? I mean, I could do that.
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
I want to put that conversation off. Lonzo asked a question this morning. Very good one. He said, yo, where'd the Michigan story go? Right? The Michigan story will forever live on in the hearts and souls of those of us that found it as entertaining as we did, which is to say, It was very, very fun.
All right.
CSI Ann Arbor will live on in our
It was
hearts.
a little loud.
That was very
my
loud.
bad. Wake up, people. All right.
6:22 in the morning. If you're not up, I done up. I fed the chickens. I done milked the cat. That's what my dad used to say. We never owned a chicken in our lives. Old man would bang a pot and a pan together at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday and be like, I done fed the chickens. I milked the cows.
I swear I love this guy. I wish I could have met him
Ugh.
because a lot of his methods were my own methods.
You're terrible people, both of you. Terrible people. So Washington, Oregon tonight, Pac-12 championship. It is, to me, the first playoff game. The winner of this game is going to the playoffs.
It was not the first playoff game. I can't find my buzzer. The first playoff game was last Saturday.
I don't know because I don't know.
If you don't consider Iowa a challenge, the first playoff game was last Saturday.
I'm going to tell dude, and I might be totally wrong. I got a real funny feeling about that game. Like legit, I've got a real funny feeling about that game. Doesn't that game kind of set up as a game that like nobody's talking about, nobody expects it to be anything? Maybe Michigan sleepwalks into that game. They got Harbaugh back, so this whole Michigan v. everybody, and we're doing it for the Gipper. Like maybe that attitude evaporates. That's what they've been playing with for the last 3 games. I got a weird feeling that we might scratch that. Lonzo might be texting me tomorrow like, dude.
No, by the way, it will be on while I'm on the air. So if you see me just stand up and just start jumping up and down, you know I'm excited about those mighty Hawkeyes.
The mighty, mighty Hawkeyes of Iowa. Listen, I'm intrigued, man. I go back and I look at Ohio State. And Ohio State's got a good defense for sure. I'm not going to argue. I am going to argue and say that I do think the stats are padded for every Big Ten defense because outside of Michigan and Ohio State, there's no offense in that conference.
Yawn. I'm bored right now.
That's fine. What I am going to say is, of the defenses in the Big Ten, Iowa genuinely might have the best one. They might truly have the best defense in that conference. And so my thought here is, if Michigan, and I don't think this is the case, but just in case, if Michigan comes into this game and they have lost the go win one for the Gipper mentality that they had when Jim Harbaugh was out in that 3-game suspension. I kind of wonder to some degree, Great One, if maybe they sleepwalk into this and Iowa can turn it into one of those 10-7 games that they've been kind of known for this year.
You didn't say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
I hope you're right. I don't think you're going to be right, though. I think Michigan's going to wipe the floor with Iowa. I would prefer it be the other way because I like my bosses happy, and both our bosses
I ain't
would
heard
be
a damn
extremely
word from him about
extremely
his Hawkeyes.
happy. Either one,
Yeah.
upstairs and downstairs. Of course, upstairs ain't been here, so but
Ain't
still,
heard a damn word from either one
It's
of our
'cause-
Hawkeye superiors.
it's because they know. They know, and
They know.
everyone knows. And I'm rooting for them tomorrow, but I don't see that happening.
Man, I just
Would you
have-
put money on it though? I mean, do you have that kind of feeling? Is that your gambling itch?
No.
That feeling? Okay.
It's not. I'm not touching this game. One of the very first lessons I learned, and one of the first things I tell people when they go, Rob, teach me how to gamble on sports. One of the first things I do is go, if you don't have a strong feeling, don't make the bet. Don't guess. Don't guess. And this one, like if I'm going to make a bet, I'm obviously going to make a bet on Michigan to cover. They're like 22.5-point favorites. I mean, it's very clearly.
Wow. Speaking of disrespectful, that's pretty disrespectful to Iowa.
Oh, it's very disrespectful to Iowa.
And
By the way,
coach is already talking about how much fun that would be if they were able to knock them off. So,
just for the funsies of the conversation here, the point spread in this game, let me go pull it up and see if it's moved at all. I doubt it has. The point spread in this game is sitting right now at Michigan minus 22.5. The total in this game is 35.5. So they are looking at, assuming they believe Michigan can put the minimum of 23 on the board, they are looking at Iowa being able to score at most 12 points against Michigan. Now, Iowa's not going to win this game if it gets into the 30s. If it gets into the 20s, they're not going to. If Michigan gets to 21, Iowa's not winning because Iowa's not putting 21 on the board. Iowa wins this game if and only if they can turn it into a punt fest. That's it. They have got to have this thing be a punt fest that ends up with like 17 punts going both ways and a situation where Michigan is frustrated as hell because they can move 20-20, but they can't punch in because Iowa just locks down. Maybe we'll get a bunch of field goals out of it, right? I don't think that's the case. Blake Corum is too good. J.J. McCarthy is maybe, probably not. Maybe, probably not. But maybe. A Heisman Trophy finalist? Probably not, but maybe. They've got too much talent to not do it. But if this game turns into a punt fest, if this game turns into a field goal kicking competition, it could get weird. Again, I'm not betting on it too. If you put a proverbial stick to my head and said, Rob, make a bet on this game, the bet is Michigan minus 22.5. But I just have a weird feeling about this, man. I just had not enough to pull the trigger on Iowa plus 22.5, but I got a weird feeling. Michigan loses the win one for the Gipper mentality. Iowa defensively might be the best defense that Michigan has faced this year. And that's not a slight to Ohio State. That is not a slight to anybody else that Michigan paid. That is a compliment to what Kirk Ferentz has put together at Iowa. Again, terrible offense, joke of an offense, but defensively, they're very good. And if they're very good defensively and they can just take some apathy that Michigan brings to the field and get them to go, what the hell is going on? And get them confused a little bit. A lot of blitzes, disrupt. Do what Ohio State tried to do to J.J. McCarthy. Do what Michigan did do to Kyle McCord. Disrupt.
I was going to say, you act like it was a beatdown by Michigan. That was a really close game. And I think they did show you how you could beat Michigan. You just got to have better quarterback play. If Ohio State had better quarterback play, they probably would have won that game.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that when it comes to Iowa, a 7-2 football team with one loss to Penn State, but a loss that they got it handed to them, and then a 12-10 loss to Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, That's a bad L. But listen to these scores for Iowa. 13-10, 15-13, 22-0, 10-7, 12-10, 15-6. Those are not baseball scores, dudes. Those are football scores because Iowa's defense is just weird. Disrupt. Do not let Michigan get comfortable. Do not let Michigan get into a groove. Do not let Michigan fall into the us v everybody mentality. I will say this. Lonzo asked where the Michigan story went. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think there's a team in America that is going to have, America. I don't think there's a team in America that is going to be rooting against Jim Harbaugh's squad or against any squad more than they're rooting against Jim Harbaugh's squad. Michigan is public enemy number one for America. So I'm intrigued, man. Blake Corum's going to have to carry this team. Their number one wide receiver, Roman Wilson, has 648 yards on the season on 40 catches. That is, it ain't average, but it ain't much above it, right? 648's a good year. It's not a great year. They don't have a great passing offense. All they do is give it to Blake Corum. Blake Corum, by the way, did not get to 1,000 yards on the ground. He's sitting at 976. So, realistically speaking, Michigan is that much better than Iowa, okay? They are. My only question is, does it get weird? Does it get weird? I'm going to tell you right now, so it comes down to this. If you believe that offense sells tickets and defense wins championships, Iowa can prove that this weekend. If defense truly does win championships, Iowa can prove it this weekend. I just don't think it does. Not at this level.
There are times when, everyone's saying that this is a gimme game. It is. And then there are other times that team gets in their head thinking this ain't nothing. We beat the team we needed to beat last week. We're going to coast right in. Hopefully TCU's in the back of their mind. If you're Michigan.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing they had that kind of mentality last year in the playoffs, thinking, we're going to the final. And then they didn't.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Michigan's, if anybody's got experience in losing a game like this one, it's Michigan. And again, I'm not saying that if Michigan loses this game, they are definitively out of the playoffs, but they probably are. They probably are.
Is Jim Harbaugh going to come on and say, I don't see any way. You can't leave the Big Ten out?
It's disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful.
All right, we got to run to a break. Speaking of that comment, let's talk about that comment from Nick Saban. Nick Saban said, If Alabama beats Georgia, if Georgia beats Alabama, whatever the outcome is this weekend, that if the Southeastern Conference is left out of the college football playoffs, it will be disrespect and unacceptable. We'll talk about what Nick said when we come back here in just a minute. Hour number 2. We'll talk about the staff movement right up the road at Clemson, South Carolina. We'll talk about the future of the offense in South Carolina without Juice Wells. That's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Did it.
Way to go, you.
Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute upstate traffic. We're starting off with construction on westbound I-85 Business Loop west of Charisma Drive. Roadways closed off there. We are seeing some delays. It's moving about 5 miles per hour. Also construction I-26 both directions in between Highway 292 and Nashville Highway. You've got one lane blocked both sides of the road. So looks great really along I-85 between Highway 101 and basically I-385. Don't see any issues there. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lori Houston on the Fan Upstate.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a cold day to find out that your heater isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business warm this winter and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Tis the season. Season for what?
Joe, Kevin, Steven, good morning to everybody.
You know,
Kevin introducing himself on the stream with 3 birds. I like that.
yes, you know, it's really difficult when you look at Facebook and see how old all your friends have gotten.
Yes, but just your friends.
Well, they don't look at me and think that, I'm sure, because, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I get real sick of having to deal with constant joint pain. I'm a golfer, kills my knees, my hips, and that is why I am here to tell you all about QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, QC Kinetics uses advanced regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged joint tissue, giving you your life back. So your hips, shoulders, elbows, whatever, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. So if you are tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, maybe, then call QC Kinetics right now to schedule your free consultation and learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain caused by arthritis or injury with no drugs, no pain meds, and no downtime. It's an all-natural treatment that can get you lasting relief. And people in the area are raving about the results. Be the next one to do that, okay? Call right now. Appointments are available. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's QC Kinetics in Greenville and Asheville. 864-448-3772. Steven, I do need to lose weight. I just don't know that I'm that committed to it, pal.
Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passit.com.
Who is that? Do you know?
With a high of 53.
No, I don't know.
Brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Switch to Cricket and let your flip era unfold by getting the all-new extraordinary Motorola Razr for just $199.
I sent you something in Facebook. I don't know if you'll think it's funny or not, but later on when you get a chance. I don't know if you know the characters enough, but someone put pictures of saying AI could put these stars in the Dragon Ball movie. They have Kim Jong-un as Android 19. That's excellent.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. There is a nightmare scenario out there for the Southeastern Conference. The nightmare scenario goes this way. Florida State University defeats Louisville. They go 13-0 and win a Power 5 conference championship. Michigan defeats Iowa. They go 13-0 and win a Power 5 conference championship. Washington defeats Oregon. They go 13-0 and win a Power 5 conference championship. Texas goes 4-0, wins a Power 5 conference championship. And Alabama defeats Georgia. If those things happen, I think the Southeastern Conference is getting locked out. I have said already, if the 4 undefeated remaining teams all win this weekend and Alabama beats Georgia, which would give you 3 Power 5 conference champions that are undefeated, right? So if we go Washington over Oregon. And frankly, honestly, I don't think it matters. I think Oregon, even if Oregon beats Washington, I think Oregon is a one-loss Pac-12 champ, is going to get the nod over the one-loss SEC champ. Now, let me say all of this is preceded with this addendum. I am assuming that the playoff selection committee operates in good faith and is not going to hand out a playoff ticket to a conference, not a team, based on television drama, marketing, TV executives' wishes. But if we end up in a spot where Alabama beats Georgia, Michigan beats Iowa, Washington beats Oregon, Florida State beats Louisville, and Texas beats Oklahoma State, I think that one-loss Oregon will go in, so regardless of the Pac-12 outcome, and I think that Texas will stay above Alabama and would grab the 4 spot. If it plays out that way, I think Michigan would be your 1 seed. If Washington beats Oregon, Washington will be the 2. If Washington does not defeat Oregon, then I think Florida State will be the 2. If Washington falls to Oregon, I think Oregon will be the 3. If Washington beats Oregon, I think Florida State will be the 3. And that only leaves the 4 seed up for grabs. And there would be 2 remaining, 1 loss, Power 5 conference champions, Texas and Alabama. And as many times as they have said it over the past 9 years, and that has been a lot, as many times as they have said it over the years, I do think that they would have to select the heads-up winner of those 2 teams. Very rarely have we had this situation where we've had 1 slot to fill. And with that 1 slot to fill, have you had 2 teams that actually played each other in the regular season? We have that this year. And as many times as the playoff selection committee has said that one of, if not the biggest metric that they will lean on is not just regular season wins and losses, but heads up wins and losses. Well, if that is the case, Texas goes ahead of Alabama. So Nick Saban can sit there all day and say, oh, it's disrespectful to the Southeastern Conference. Greg Sankey did it too. Greg Sankey came out and said, hey, we've been in every one of them. In the history of the playoff, the Southeastern Conference has been defeated by non-SEC teams 3 times. Twice in the semifinals, 1 in the national championship. 3 Out of 9 years, they've been in it every year. They have been eliminated from the playoff by outside conferences 3 times. It is impressive. But I think that Sankey specifically, to some degree, has fallen into the same trap that I think a lot of people did with Georgia. I don't give a single rat's about what happened in 2022 or 21 or 20 or 99 or 19 or 18 or 17 or 16. I don't care. All I care about is what has happened this year. And this year, Bama played Texas and they lost. And in playing Texas and losing, they put themselves in a position where they're going to need a lot of help, right? Now, if Alabama beats Georgia and Florida State loses to Louisville and Michigan loses to Iowa, then they've got a good shot. But I still think that they will need, talking about Texas, 2 open slots. They will need for 2 out of, actually, really, Michigan and Florida State to fall. I think the only way Bama can get in, unless I'm missing a scenario off the top of my head, I think the only way Bama can get in is if Michigan and Florida State both lose this weekend. Because there has to be 2 spots. If Oregon beats Washington, Oregon's getting one of the spots. So that game's irrelevant. That spot is locked. There is a locked up Pac-12 spot. The winner of that game is going. I think that Michigan could be dropped with a loss to Iowa. Not because they lost a Big Ten title game, but because who they lost it to. And I think, as I have mentioned, the only team that is playing for a Power 5 championship this weekend that cannot get in with a loss, no matter what they do. It could be the greatest football game we've ever watched. Florida State cannot get in if they lose to Louisville. By the way, I said Louisville one time. One time I said Louisville in this segment, and I get the text that goes, Rob, it's pronounced Louisville. I want to love anything as much as people from Louisville demand that you say it Louisville.
Do better, Rob. I apologize on behalf of the show.
If I had the work ethic that people from Louisville have in demanding that you call it Louisville, I'd be president of Earth by now. If I had the love for anything that Louisville fans have in making sure that you call it Louisville, I'd be running college football by now. Yes, Texter. I know it's Louisville. You know how I know it's Louisville? Because every time I've ever said it's Louisville or Louisville or Louisville, every time I've ever said it, somebody comes out of the woodworks to go, Rob, it's Louisville. You know, Lonzo, like when I played Little League Baseball and it was my turn to bat and I walked over to the bat sack and I reached in and I pulled out that world famous Louisville slugger. You all know, you all played baseball with a Louisville slugger. That's how you say that. I asked Deck if he'd ever batted with a Louisville slugger. He's like, yeah, in high school. Played with Louisville sluggers all the time. Listen, I will do it because I love you people. But Louis is not said Loh. And Ville is only called Va in your place.
You know, if you would just use the accent of the people who live there, you'd be all right.
Logo, I am. Logo.
No, you got to have a little more twang in
A little
there.
more phlegm. All right, so let's talk.
So twang and phlegm, not the same thing.
No, but they use both. Rob, it's Logo. Nick Saban is saying what he's saying, not because I think Nick Saban, I mean, he may truly believe it. He may not. I don't know. That's not why he's saying. It's not why he's saying it. Nick Saban is saying what Nick Saban is saying very simply because the only way Bama is getting in is if the committee goes, well, we can't disrespect the SEC. We should give them a slot. Heads up, victory be damned.
The overlord of football has spoken and has said, you will not leave us out. That is disrespectful.
That's it. He recognizes that
He's
if Bama,
politicking. That's what he's doing, for sure.
Even if Bama beats Georgia, which for the sake of funsies, let's say that what I've been beaten over the head with for the past week is true. That is unquestionably, undoubtedly, without reservation, the best win in college football this year. Let's say that's true. Let's say it's the greatest win in the history of college football. Let's say it is. You should have beat Texas. It's real simple. So, Nick and Bama fans, and frankly, SEC fans, listen, if you are one of these people that does the SEC chant all the time.
Stop it, Rob. It just means more. You just don't get it.
I guess not. If you are one of these folks who does the SEC chant at football games, not your team, but you chant for all the teams, then you better be a Georgia fan this weekend.
AEW. Oh, sorry.
That's different and you know it. If you are a person who chants SEC, you better be a Georgia fan. Because the only definite way the Southeastern Conference is getting a dog into the fight is by sending the University of Georgia with a win over Alabama. If you want Alabama in, then you are a huge fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes and a huge fan of the local Cardinals, because you need both of them to win for there to be room for Bama. The Pac-12 winner tonight is going to the playoffs, regardless of who wins it. If there is one spot left and Texas wins theirs conference and Alabama wins the SEC, Texas is going ahead of Bama because you played each other and they won. And that is one of the three biggest metrics by which these committee members determine who's in and who's out. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. 844-326-3663 is the phone number. 844-326-3663. You can also text us on the carpros.com text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. Tweet me at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. Ladies and gentlemen, it is December 1st. Now you may begin celebrating Christmas. And on this first day of the Christmas season, I give to you a gift that you will treasure and keep close to your heart forever. I give you this Sports Flash with Lonzo.
I vow in 2024 that I will live up to that billing. The Dallas Cowboys kept themselves alive in the race for the NFC East last night with a 41-35 win over Seattle. Dak Prescott and Geno Smith each threw 3 touchdowns, but Seattle's quarterback Geno threw the lone interception that led to a Dallas win. Number 7 LSU's Angel Reese made her way back to the court for the first time in over 2 weeks last night in an 82-64 win over number 9 Virginia Tech. Reese missed the Tigers' last 4 games with an absence that remains unexplained. Former Clemson quarterback DJ Uiagalelei is soon to be former Oregon State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei because he's one of the most recent players to enter the transfer portal. Hey, tune in for wall-to-wall NFL action right here this Sunday on the Fan Upstate.
We have a full calendar of activities for all of our residents. In addition, our director of memory care has been there for many years as well. To stop by for a visit, give us a call at 864-286-6600. It moves? Let's move. The Upstate Holiday Light Show here too, in District Park. Where's District Park? At the intersection of 123 and 153 near Greenbelt and Speedway. They have millions of incredible Christmas lights and music, a giant Christmas tree, a 600-foot-long light tunnel, carnival lights, and even a petting zoo and a corral.
Upstate Holiday Lights sounds great for the family.
How do we get tickets? You can get info and buy tickets and fast passes at upstatelights.com. We went last year and the kids loved it. It's a Christmas tradition.
I'm taking my family to Upstate Holiday Lights.
We'll meet you there, probably more than once. The family loves it and includes everybody in the holiday spirit. It kickstarts our hollies and jollies.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show at their new location, District Park, at the intersection of 123 and 153, is open now through December 31st. Enjoy the magic of the season with family, neighbors, and friends. For more information, visit upstatelights.com.
Love the new card, but how did CarPro.com, my new friend? Oh, honey, CarPro.com has the easiest, most wonderful way of buying a car. I'm in love.
CarPro.com. You now have a friend in the car buying business, and it doesn't suck.
And it doesn't suck.
Discover, this is Daniela. Hi, it's Jennifer Keelan.
Finn Bauer just
Thank you for making me feel so
tweeted,
special.
"Attention, Ron Killings," and it's a picture of jelly rolls with one of those X thing over it.
That segment was great. We do need a TV, though.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cashback. It pays to Discover. Eligibility in terms of discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Ancestry makes the perfect gift to give people.
Smith and James in the first break.
10-4.
Apparently, GTA Online has added animals. What could go wrong with that?
It's one gift, but it's so many different things.
Show someone where they came from this holiday season with Ancestry DNA. Now on sale at Ancestry.com. WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3, the official sports voice of you, the Upstate fan. CBS Sports Radio. Live on the Philadelphia.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents freedom, freedom. Yeah.
Sports Talk, manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah, Rob.
The fan upstate.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. The Money Hour is underway. I am Rob Brown, the great Lonzo on the ones and twos this AM. Welcome back. This is the Fan Upstate. Pleasure to have you all on a college football championship weekend Friday. We get underway. Coming up this evening, the matchup you've all been waiting for when New Mexico State takes on undefeated Liberty. And then also Oregon-Washington tonight at 8 p.m. I had to tell you, let me tell you where I am with this game.
So wait a minute. Oregon, Washington can actually play at 8 o'clock.
Sure can.
So they could play at a normal, Eastern time.
Well, in fairness, that's a 6 p.m. kickoff out west.
Good.
6 p.m. I will tell you that now, granted, if Washington or Oregon were my team and I lived out there, I lied to you. This is a 6 o'clock game in California, but the game is being played in Mountain Time in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that game is a 7 o'clock kick local time in Vegas, the home of your Las Vegas Athletics.
And Raiders and gambling and shows and stuff.
All big fans of all, by the way. Big fans of all. So, yes, they can play at a normal time, and tonight they will, which I'm very excited about. Let me tell you where I am with this game. The lady friend and I, we went out last night. She had an appointment. I drove her to her appointment. We got done with the appointment, and the plan was that we were going to, once the appointment was over, we were going to hit up a local watering hole, except for we brought the dog because I mistakenly thought that this watering hole we were going to go get dinner and a drink at after her appointment was dog friendly. And it is, but it's like it's outside only. Like you can bring the dog, but you got to sit outside. It was cold. And when I went in, the lady was like, just as a heads up, our space heater outside is not working. So you're going to be in the cold. We were like, all right. So I looked at her, and it was very late, Lonzo. It was like 7 p.m. I looked at her. I'm like, where are we going for dinner? And she looks at me and says nothing at all. And I said, all right, you drive. I'll order the pizza on the way home. And we went home because that's just where we are in our lives, right? So yesterday, when we got to the house.
By the way, you never settle for pizza because it's pizza.
I got to tell you, we were going to a local watering hole that is well known for its hot dog game. And I got real jacked up about trying some gourmet hot dogs, like real jacked up. I'm a big pizza guy.
You cannot make gourmet hot dogs because hot dogs are for poor people.
They are. I mean, so not. Stop gatekeeping. Okay. Stop gatekeeping.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. And you're doing it anyway. It's impressive.
I really don't know what that means. But
so
okay.
We went home, we got the pizza, we got to talking, and she's like, well, we can go out tomorrow night if you want. And I said, I don't want to go out tomorrow night. It's not that I don't want to spend time with you. It's that Washington, Oregon plays tomorrow night, and they might score 100 points in this game.
All right. You know, I get that's work and everything. So you could actually go to a place where the game would be on, but you know, it's a night where you can go and you don't have to worry about getting up early the next day. You can actually unwind. You don't really have a bedtime on Friday night and you're not going.
Nope. No, it's not old. It's not old because if this game wasn't tonight,
I mean, if it was on Thursday, I get it because you got to get up early on Friday, but it's not.
If this game was not on tonight, we would be going out. I would be able to tell you where every live band in the city is playing this evening. I would be putting together a game plan that included hitting multiple establishments to see multiple bands. Like we would be going out, but I am staying in, and here's why. This is where I will say that I have stepped across the old guy line, right? The reason is.
Do you have the Sherpa on the couch?
Not just the Sherpa, but we got from Costco last week this real big fuzzy soft blanket, and it's a game changer. Game changer. At my house this evening, there will be a 75-inch television that I am in control of, that I can turn the volume up as loud as I wish. There are multiple very large bottles of rum, vodka, whiskey to pick from that are already bought and paid for. I don't have to think every time I order another drink, okay, that's another $8. Okay, that's another $8. Okay, that's another $8.
That sounds expensive.
It is. Not at the Casa de Love. At the Casa de Love, every single Merry Twistmas that I drink tonight is going to be free because it's already in the house, right? And when that game is over, a game that I will be, by the way, watching in a hoodie and boxer shorts alongside a very beautiful young woman. When that game is over, then I get to go to bed. Now, that game starts at 8 p.m. That game's going to be over close to 11 because this is going to be a pass-heavy game. Penix Jr. v. Knicks, they're going to be winging the rock everywhere. Going to be a lot of clock stoppage. This game is going to tick closer to 3 hours than it does 2. So this game's not going to be over anywhere before like 10 till 11 tonight. And while Robbie B 100% will still go out and get turned if the boys make the call, I will go out and stay out well past 11, but I will not go out at 11. There's a difference. If it's 8, 9
I
o'clock,
thought that's when things just start getting started.
they do, but I gotta
You got to
ease
work your
into
way.
it.
You
You're
got to
right.
work your way in. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. That's like me today going, I'm running a 5K tomorrow. No, you're not. You can try your best. You try your best, fatty, but I'm not going out to run a 5K tomorrow. All right. I got to ease into that. I got to warm up into that. Got to do a little warm up first. So I'll be at the house tonight. Unless she says, take me out and let's go get drinks, in which case I'll be out tonight. All right, let's get to it. It is just after 7 p.m. It is time for...
Okay. It's not 7 p.m. It's 7 a.m.
It's Friday.
Yeah, okay.
It's Friday.
All right. I just want to clarify in case someone thinks, oh my God, I slept all day.
I mean, it is dark as it would be at 7 p.m. No, friends. It is 7 a.m. It is time for the water cooler cheat sheet.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
You hear Whatever.
even before they take their first
Ah,
bathroom
ah,
break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
I'm, whatever you had at the beginning of the show, I now have, and I'm just a little bit off.
It's contagious.
Yeah, it's not good.
Item number 1, we won't spend a ton of time on because we've already spent a ton of time on it. Should Alabama upset number 1 Georgia tomorrow in the SEC championship game? Nick Saban says the Southeastern Conference deserves an invite, regardless of the outcome. Saban said yesterday that it would be a, quote, disrespect. It would be a disrespect to the SEC if there isn't an SEC representation in the playoffs, end quote, said Nick Saban. He reiterated that on the Pat McAfee show later on. Saban said, quote, I think the SEC is one of the best conferences in the country. I think Georgia is one of the best teams in the country. I think they're one of the best 4 teams in the country. I think if we beat them, we'd be one of the best 4 teams in the country. Kirby Smart got asked about that. He said, quote, I don't want to, quote, get into it, end quote, and said, quote, I want to focus on what we have to do to win this game. Somebody who did not hold back, SEC Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey, who said, quote, starting with the simple fact that there are 3 teams currently ranked in the top 10 with 3 or more wins over top 25 teams as the rankings currently exist. 2 of those teams are Georgia and Alabama. Asked about the history of the SEC in the college football playoff era, he said, quote, it's envied by everyone else. We've lost the semifinal once to a non-conference team, to a non-conference team twice in the championship game. The only other losses we've experienced are to ourselves in the national championship game. The entirety of our record is a basis for the assurance that we will have a team in the CFP for the 10th consecutive year. Greg?
Yo, everybody want to be us. Everybody want to be us.
Greg? What you did last year and the year before 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 don't matter. All that matters is this year. Okay? That's it. That's all that matters. Greg Sankey to me, I'm about to tick some people off. Watch this, Lonzo. You know what Greg Sankey to me is? A number of years ago, I saw a movie with Ray Liotta in it. Now, I'm a huge Goodfellas guy, okay? Ray Liotta, great in that movie. But I saw a movie later towards the end of his career. No, it wasn't. It was a TV show. He was on a TV show, like a cop drama. And within like the first couple of minutes of watching, I was like, oh, Ray Liotta's got to stop. Ray, go home. Go home, enjoy your life, dude. You're one of the greatest mobster actors of all time. Go home and enjoy your life. And I came to the realization, Ray Liotta doesn't have this job because he's still a great actor. Ray Liotta has this job because he has a tremendous history behind him. And it's just something to attach himself to, or more importantly, something to have Ray Liotta attached to. The SEC is playing the Ray Liotta card right now. Look at what we did, what we used to do, how great we were when we did it. Guys, it doesn't matter. All that matters is this project. All that matters is right now. And right now, you had a chance to be there, but Bama lost to Texas. That's your story right there.
All right, when you said you're going to make people mad, you didn't tell me you're going to make the mob mad. I mean, that's different.
Does the mob, the actual mob, have Ray Liotta's back?
Why wouldn't they?
That's fair. Cowboys win last night. Item number 2. 41-35 winners go Dallas over the Seattle Seahawks. It drops Seattle to 6-6, bumps the boys up to 9-3. Dak Prescott had another pretty good game, 29-41, 299, 3 tutties, no picks in this one. A quarterback rating of 115. Geno was not awful, 23 of 41, 334, and 3 touchdowns. The problem for Geno was the 1 pick that he threw. He threw 1 pick. Wouldn't you know it? It went into the waiting arms, of course, of Senior Bland, who has been exceptional. DaRon Bland. He now leads all time the NFL in single season pick 6. He did not pick 6 this one, but he did get it, and it gave the Cowboys the chance to pull ahead, and they did. It was 21-20 in favor of the Seahawks at halftime. Dallas ended up putting up a pair of touchdowns in the fourth quarter to put this thing away. CeeDee Lamb, 12 grabs, 116 and a touch. Tight end Jake Ferguson, 6 grabs, 77 and a touch. Brandon Cooks, 4 for 45 and a touch. But the MVP of the game, without a question right now, DK Metcalf, 6 grabs, $134, not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. All I wanted, Lonzo, all I wanted was for that game to live up to the over-the-moon entertainment level that we got out of Chicago, Minnesota, and it did.
It was a good game, except for all the penalties. There were a lot of penalties. Oh, my
God, that was obnoxious, dude. It was obnoxious. In fact, let me pull up, since we're here, I got one more item to get to, but I gotta go look how many penalties there were in that game. According to ESPN stats and information, there were 19 penalties called, 10 on Seattle, 9 on Dallas, the 2 most penalized teams in the league. 19 penalties, Lonzo, for 257 combined penalty yards last night.
So NFL Network replays the game the next day. So I had it on this morning. It was in the third quarter. Every other play was a penalty. It was bad.
Dude, if they put that game together, like if they edit that game to take out just the calls, just the penalty calls, right? Instead of like the breakdowns and the waiting and the referee conversations, if they take all that out and all they show is the ref giving the calls, they're going to take 45 minutes off that broadcast. That was obnoxious. It really was. That was obnoxious. Item number 3. The transfer portal talk continues. Yesterday, we learned that the University of South Carolina would be losing the guy that they all very much planned on leaning on next year, Antoine Juice Wells. He is headed to the portal. He will be headed somewhere else, but he is not alone. Former Clemson Tiger quarterback turned Oregon State Beaver quarterback will soon turn former Oregon State Beaver quarterback as DJ Uiagalelei, after a single year in Corvallis, will be headed somewhere else again. Now, he intends to put his name in the portal. There is discussion that he may test the waters of the NFL draft. I do not think that is the right call yet. I think DJU could use one more year. He got better his final year at Clemson. He was even better this year at Oregon State. If the trend up continues, DJU next year will likely have an opportunity to do something. I don't think it's time yet. So DJU becomes the most recent quarterback to land in the transfer portal. We do know that Riley Leonard has already gone in. We do know that Riley Leonard is going to be called the most sought-after quarterback in this transfer portal without a doubt, transferring out of Duke. We also found out that Dante Moore, a quarterback from UCLA, the number 2 prospect overall in last year's class, a 5-star out of Detroit, originally committed to Oregon, flipped to UCLA, appeared in 10 games this year, threw for over 1,600 yards with 11 tutties and 9 picks. He did split duty with other quarterbacks at UCLA this year, had interest in Michigan State, Texas A&M, LSU, Miami, and Michigan, amongst others, went to UCLA, now leaving UCLA. Will Howard is out at Kansas State, DJU at Oregon State. Grayson McCall transferring out of Coastal Carolina. Tyler Shook from Texas Tech. Max Bosmer from UNI. Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, Will Rogers from Mississippi State, E.J. Warner of Temple, M.J. Morris from NC State, Brendan Sorsby from Indiana. I'm going to try this. Ethan Kaliakmanis.
Sounds right.
Minnesota.
Sounds right to me.
Sure, why not? Nate Johnson. There's a name I can get behind out of Utah. Caden Hauser from Michigan State and Mitch Griffiths are the quarterbacks that are still on the board. The only quarterback that has hit the portal that has already been claimed is Max Johnson, who is headed to North Carolina next year, should all the paperwork go through. But a lot of QBs out there available in the college football transfer portal. When we come back here in just a moment from right now, Lonzo asked, as we departed the fortress of nerditude en route to the studio this AM, a question. He said, Rob, you young man, as handsome as you are intelligent, why is it that nobody's talking about Michigan and the sign stealing anymore? Welp, turns out one guy is the new offensive coordinator at Arkansas, and Clemson caught a stray from him, A. And B, I'm going to answer that question. And I do have an answer for that question. And I'll tell you what the answer to that question is when we return here in mere moments. I am Rob Brown, the great Malonzo at the helm. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got a live read right here. Stay right there. We'll be right back. been a minute. Been a minute since we threw the glasses on. It has been a minute since our last episode of CSI Ann Arbor. For the record, I don't really have an update. I just wanted to put on the glasses and play the sounder. That's all. Lonzo asked this morning, as we were getting our wonderful day of sports talk entertainment started, sport talk entertainment going, as we were leaving the fortress of nerditude and making the champions walk from the office to the studio this AM, he said, Rob, I ask you this question because I know, as always, you will have an answer that will astound us. Why? Oh, why, pray tell? And I'm quoting him here. This is the direct quote. Why, oh, why, pray tell, do you believe that no one is talking about the Michigan sign stealing scandal any further? And so consider this less a new episode of CSI Ann Arbor, and consider this more like a mid-season intermission. You know how they're doing with the TV shows on the streaming platforms now, where they give you like 5 episodes and then they take like a 2-month break and then they drop the back half of season whatever you're on?
Yeah, like a normal show on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hate it. Anyway, consider this more of the mid-season break. Because like in every good crime show, there's 2 parts to most of the stories, right? There's 2 parts to the stories. There's the opening part. The show opens. You're introduced to the crime scene. This guy over here got murdered and hacked up. And then the intro is they start feeding you clues one by one. We found fingerprints on the wall. We found this over there, that over there. And there are these 5 suspects that all have some sort of connection. This guy over here used to be a business partner with the guy. This guy over here owed him money from his gambling business. This guy over here slept with his wife 22 years ago. This guy over here, that guy over there. They give you a couple of potential perps for you to figure it out. And then you go about halfway through the episode where you're kind of narrowing down perps. And then you get to about the middle of the episode. And around the middle of the episode, you've ruled out 2 or 3 perps. Turns out the guy who slept with his wife, he was in Europe when this happened. Turned out the guy that owed him money from gambling had actually paid up the night before the murder. He didn't owe him money anymore. He was clean. So now you got these other 2 guys. You got the former business partner over there, and you got estranged family member over here. And those are our 2 guys. And then there's a little bit of a lull in the story, because in this part of the show, this is where you start having the detectives put the case together, right? And it's no longer threats of arrest or threats of overtime jail or whatever. It's no longer about the threat of arrest to the perps. It's about, can we build a case? Can we build a case on what we know? And then in the back half, where do they go? In front of the judge. They bring the case in front of the judge and they say, Your Honor, here's the evidence we have. And the crux all comes down to whether or not the jury is going to come back with a guilty verdict, right? That's where we are right now. All of the initial threats have been made. All of the initial punishments, the easy punishments, the overnight jail time, the embarrassment of doing a perp walk through the park, all that's been done. That was the 3-game suspension from the Big Ten. And I did not expect any more than that. Because, as we've talked about, let's play the Rob Brown Show Home Edition. Lonzo, when it comes to college football, most, if not all, decisions are based on what number 1 overall metric?
They go with money, Rob.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. That sounds more like a hotel lobby bell than like a game show bell, you know?
You know how hard it is to find anything in that. I mean, I'll work on it.
The Big Ten was never going to establish a suspension for Jim Harbaugh that was going to result in him missing a playoff game. I fully believe that Tony Petitti, him and the family, they were sitting around in the Big Ten offices. They had a discussion. And they're like, hey, our number one capo, Jim Harbaugh, he's insulting the family. Now, we think we don't need to go to extreme punishment. We don't need to whack him. But he does have to suffer a little bit. He's got to pay for what he did to the family, right? And so I really think Tony Petitti likely last Saturday when the game was on was sitting there biting fingernails to see what the outcome was going to be. I think that they weren't going to give any more than a 3-game suspension because there were 3 games left. In fact, I think had all of this come out and the suspension was going to be levied the week of the game, they would have given him a 1-game suspension because while the Big Ten might be furious with Jim Harbaugh right now, they weren't going to ding up Michigan's chances of winning a national championship game.
So what you're saying here is if Ohio State would have won that game, Michigan would be being punished right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But Michigan would have been punished right now, and the Big Ten still would have had a playoff contender.
Right.
If Ohio State would have, say, theoretically lost to Penn State and effectively removed themselves from the playoff consideration, even had they defeated Iowa and won the Big Ten, I think that suspension would have been 2 games. It'd have been Penn State and Maryland, and Jim Harbaugh would have been welcomed back to the sideline for the Ohio State game. Right? I think the Big Ten is doing what they're doing to give Michigan still a fair shake to win a natty. Why? America. Because the NCAA still has to act. See, the Big Ten's the dirty cop. The Big Ten's the cop that gets who they think is the perp. They don't have it 100% proven yet, but who they think is the perp. And as they're walking the guy down the street in handcuffs, the Big Ten's the guy that pushes the perp back in the alley and just roughs him up a little bit, right? Just gives him a couple of gut punches, maybe a couple of slaps across the face, and goes, if you did it, you tell me right now, you son of a... That's tremendous dramatic acting, by the way.
I was...
tremendous dramatic acting.
You drew me in.
I know.
Yeah, wow.
It was amazing. But at the end of the day, that's not the big punishment, right? It is the NCAA that is the judge and jury in this case. It is the NCAA that is going to make the decision on whether or not to lay down any sort of punishment that has long-term ramifications on Michigan, up to and including driving Jim Harbaugh out of Ann Arbor and back into the waiting arms of an NFL team next season. That is why nobody's talking about it, because frankly, right now, there's nothing to talk about, right? Lonzo said, the media is just giving it the old glance over, right? Nobody's paying attention anymore. Well, here's the thing. What do you want them to say right now, right? What do you want them to report? We know the details. We know the information. We know what the Big Ten's case was. We know what the Big Ten's punishment was. Jim Harbaugh has gone through that Big Ten punishment. As of right this moment, short of he did it, they did it, they broke the rules, right? We know all of these things, but there's no updates to the story short of Michigan and their result against Iowa tomorrow.
So what you're basically saying is Michigan has posted and now they're out on bail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd say you can give yourself the sounder on that. Yeah. Michigan that's dang it, Lonzo, you're better at this than me. All right. That is exactly the metaphor in case. Michigan is posted bail, right? Harbaugh's 3-game suspension was their bail. They are out on bail. They can go. This happens at every one of the CSIs as well. They're pretty sure they got the perp dead to rights. They've got the evidence. They've got the information. They go down to make the arrest, and they end up finding the guy's lawyer, and they're like, yo, where's the bad guy? Where's he at? We got the arrest warrant, or we got the search warrant. And the lawyer's like, I don't know what to tell you, detectives. He made bail. And then they got to go track the guy down. Michigan's on bail. The reality is, in the real world, where things are very boring, the guy's out on bail. There's nothing you can do, and there's nothing to talk about. The only story is he finished his punishment. Michigan won anyway. Michigan beat Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State anyway. Michigan's going to the Big Ten championship. If Michigan wins the Big Ten championship, they are going to the semifinal. If they win the semifinal, they're going to the Natty. That is it. And there is nothing that the NCAA can do about it at this point because of that appeals window, which does not end for like 70 more days.
You know, you keep talking about these cop shows. One of the things is sometimes the bad guy wins on those shows, which just leaves you like, wow, he got away with that. So the ultimate bad guy win here is for Michigan to win the national championship and for Jim Harbaugh to walk away saying he's accomplished everything that he needed to accomplish in Michigan and goes to an NFL team while the team gets sanctioned and gets all the things. Basically, he Pete Carroll's it.
Yep. That's pretty much it. There is do you remember a movie called Arlington Road? Came out back in the 90s. Arlington Road, it was like right at the end of the 90s. Arlington Road was one, it was a movie that disturbed me greatly. Jeff Bridges was in it. Tim Robbins was in it. Joan Cusack was in it. And it disturbed me greatly. It was about a guy that is effectively like a domestic terrorist. And it's the first movie that I ever watched, the great one that I can remember, where the bad guy won and didn't just win, but like decisively won. Right. And I remember that movie disturbing me greatly because it was like the first time. I was like 14 when that movie came out. And I think it was like the first time that I ever really had to deal with the reality that the bad guys win sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
The bad guys win sometimes. And so, yes, Jim Harbaugh is very much set up here if he wins the Natty to Arlington Road college football, right? At the end of that movie, the movie was about a domestic terrorist group, and basically what they did was they would go city to city, they would commit terrorist acts, but they would frame people within the community, right? They would frame them, and then they would end up killing them in the attack so that they look like they did it. And the whole movie is like an ex-FBI agent. I've seen this movie probably since then. An ex-FBI agent kind of gets the feeling that this other guy in the community might be connected to this terror group, and then the terror group frames him. And he drives to the building because he believes the guy is there planting a bomb, and he goes through the whole thing, and he eventually finds the bomb, and the bomb blows up. And the next scene is like, there's a news report where they're like, ex-FBI agent so-and-so detonated a dirty bomb today at the government building. And then it shows the guy, the actual terrorist, and he's with his wife and his kid. And it just shows him packing up and moving to a new town. And he just drives off into the sunset, right? You're like, what? That's what Jim Harbaugh has a chance to do, for sure. And that is why I absolutely believe that tomorrow, no team, Alabama included, will be the most rooted against team in America. I think just about everybody that is not a Wolverine is sick of we're really the victims. It's us against the world. Win one for the Gipper. Undeserved mentality out of Jim Harbaugh in Michigan.
America.
I firmly believe that America is going to be rooting against Michigan tomorrow.
America.
Because college football should not get Arlington roaded. Anybody else seen that movie? Is it just me? I'm the only one who's seen that movie. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this hour of the show. I am Rob Brown. He is Lonzo. Thank you for listening to this mid-season review and recap of CSI Ann Arbor. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Rashad?
Yes, 8:20, normal time.
Okay.
I like Tanich for a second.
Yes. Like, oh, guys, what time is it? What's up? Oh, we're good. We're good. We're good. I think my fog is gone. I'm not sure what happened there, but just got foggy all of a sudden. So when you get older and you have foggy moments, you start getting a little worried, like, oh no, it's happening. I'm no longer going to be able to pay attention to anything. It's over. It's ended. It was a good run. And then you wake up a little bit more and find out you're just all right.
I'm Bopper, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development.
Yeah, he switched the two. Oh, no, we both have working ones now.
Oh.
So, I don't know if you grabbed another one or what.
Working one's what?
Ring light.
It emailed me yesterday and said that the ring light was broken.
Yeah. But he texted me last night and said he switched it out. So, I don't know if he grabbed one from your...
Yeah, Andrew may have given him one. I was going to say, I could only find one left, and I thought we had more of this, so she's already used one.
Yeah.
It appears that all is well, Chris.
Fair enough.
We're eating good in the neighborhood.
No, we're not. I don't always have that on, but now that it's dark and I have to read, I need a little more light to see. And if I turn the lights all the way up over here, I'll have a headache. So. Okay.
I appreciate your effort.
Sorry you don't get to work.
Thank you, Christopher. I don't really have a choice. Let's run through some of the texts you guys have been sending to the carpros.com text line at 71307. Text said, if Iowa costs the Big Ten and Ohio State millions of dollars missing the playoffs, or if Iowa wins, it costs the Big Ten and Ohio State millions of dollars missing the playoffs. Nobody is cheering for Michigan harder than the Ohio State athletic department.
Come on.
Nobody.
Come on.
Would you rather see? Here's the thing. I think that's an SEC mentality, right? I don't think in any other conference does a team say, by golly, I really hope my truest rival wins a national championship so that my conference looks good. That does not happen in any other conference.
I'm disturbed by this text. What? No.
Yeah, that's it. There is no other conference outside of the Southeastern Conference, and you guys can claim that that is a good thing if you wish. It's your world. I'm not here to poo-poo it. But there is no other conference in America that roots for their rivals to win natties because it makes the conference look good. I have news for you. This is not like a situation where if Bama wins, Auburn gets a night with the national championship trophy, right? This is not like the Stanley Cup where if LSU wins the natty, Texas A&M gets to claim 1/16 of it. It's not how it works. Texture said, next time say spoiler alert. Yes, I apologize that I spoiled Arlington Road, which I looked up and came out in 1999.
Yeah, come on, man. You're not watching it. So don't be upset about it.
I'm sorry that I didn't hit you with a spoiler alert for that 22-year-old movie that would be graduating college this year. That's my bad.
Hopefully, unless, they had a couple bad
lost
classes.
a scholarship or something.
Yeah,
Texture said Ohio State will gladly cash that check Michigan gives them if they win the championship. The whole thing is a joke.
What's wrong with these people? Who are these people?
I think that when it comes to the fans, right? When it comes to the fans, I really think fans, specifically SEC fans, will rationalize doing something that shan't be rationalized by going, oh, but the money though, Rob.
I
you
hope,
don't know what the financials are. You never have.
I hope these guys are just trolling me. That's what I'm okay if you just, please tell me you don't really think that.
Texter said, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, here you go. If you can tamper, get a player into the portal and buy your rival team's players with money, who cares about stealing signs? Nobody except Ohio State fans and talk show host is the answer for most of us. I could care less. Okay, first off.
There we go. There's a Michigan person. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, someone being real. Whether I agree with you or not, you're being real.
More important than that.
Wow. That's like full-on submarine sinking.
More important than that. You have just triggered a pet peeve, listener. The phrase is, I could not care less. I could not care. I could care less means it's easy for you to care less. The phrase is, I couldn't care less.
I need some pompous music. Welcome,
how's that pompous? That is just...
Welcome to Grammar Talk with Robert
Lonzo,
Brown.
do you understand that if you don't care
I
about something,
agree with you.
I couldn't care less is the phrase.
By the way, I completely agree with you.
I care so little that I could not care less.
I think
That's
I think your passion is misplaced, though.
No, it's not, because
you're not fixing this.
I hear this all the time. I could care less. That's not how that phrase
Stop
works.
being it. Well, you could still be a talk show host, but you need to also go into all the schools and go to teach them how to say it correctly.
I can do that with our listening audience. I get I could care less text once a week. I could not care less. I couldn't care less. The phrase is, I couldn't care less. We couldn't care less. Not I could. If you could care less, it does mean that you care. If you were trying to say that you do not care at all, the phrase is, I could not care less, because the only way you could not care less is if you don't care at all. If you could care less, it means you care.
All right. I blame Chris for this. He walks in the room and then suddenly we're going English language here. Like, you expect them to say things correctly all the time on the text line.
No, I expect you to get the little things right. I'm like a championship caliber coach. I'm the Nick Saban of saying things. I expect you to get the little ones right. The phrase is, I could not care less. If you want the contraction, I couldn't care less.
Okay, coach.
Get it right.
Okay,
get
coach.
it right.
Okay, coach.
This would be
You've been properly chastised, Texter. Don't do that again.
I couldn't care less. I couldn't.
What are the last three numbers of their phone number? You should do. It's
I'm
okay.
gonna call them after the show.
Okay, all right.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. I just need to
that.
make sure you heard that lecture. Texas said, Rob, do CSI Chicago and figure out what Corey Perry did. I really want to. In my head, totally slept with Connor Bedard's mom.
All right,
He totally did it.
He's come out and said he didn't. By the way.
Oh yeah, no, that's what. Yeah, no, and that definitely means
Nah,
he didn't do it.
man. I wasn't even there that night.
Listen,
it wasn't me.
Somebody tell me what I'm gonna tell you right now. This story, if he came out tomorrow and he was like, yeah, I was doing rails of cocaine in the locker room off my hockey stick, I'd be like, oh, well, that's boring. That's a boring
By
end
the
of
way,
the story.
we don't condone that, and you should not do that.
I didn't say condoned it.
Okay, all
I
right,
said
I
if he
just-
came out and said I was doing
People
blow
hear what
in
they
the
wanna hear.
bathroom at the locker room,
Okay.
I'd be like, that's a lot less boring than what we thought it was. That is a lot more boring than we thought it was. What a boring conclusion to this story. I thought we were going to get something great. We got you doing what pretty much most professional athletes do. What a boring story. Texture said, Greg Sankey sounds like Notre Dame fans banking on history to get into the playoff. Yeah, 100%. 100%. SEC fans, with your commissioner's comments, have lost the right to mock Notre Dame fans for leaning on legacy and history to get special treatment, because that's what you're doing right now. You are leaning on legacy and history. Even if it is recent history, you are leaning on legacy and history to earn you special treatment. We should, even though we lost to Texas, be allowed to jump over Texas because SEC. That's not how it works. All you had to do was beat them. Texas said, Rob, the Casa de Love sounds fully stocked and fun. I think I'll invite myself. Thanks. Well, if you know where I live, Texter, come on over. Kickoff's at 8. Texter said, Rob, what about a scenario like last year when the teams who lose their conference championship are not penalized and still make the playoffs? With the exception of FSU. Georgia could still be in and not Bama, Michigan, Washington, Georgia, Oregon, Texas. So if Georgia beats Bama, Georgia's going. If Georgia loses to Bama, Georgia is the best opportunity in the top 4 teams. Georgia, in fact, I'm going to go one step further. Georgia might be the only team in the top 4 that has a chance to lose the conference championship and still get in. They're the only team.
Because they're ranked first.
Right.
If they were ranked a little bit lower, that would be more of a problem.
I would say,
which maybe could have been foresight on by the college football committee, thinking, okay, if this were to happen, I know they're not supposed to do that, but you move them to number 1 above then Ohio State, which was number 1. And yeah, anyway,
I don't have any issue with Georgia having kept their number 1 ranking. Not really.
They weren't there in the first place. I think they got moved there in case they might lose to Alabama. I know it's all conspiracy. I know it's all speculation.
Say that because they have 52 out of 62 AP top 25 votes, right? That tells me that the playoff committee is going to line up with that.
Sorry, we're going to disagree on this a bunch. AP is meaningless now.
All right. So the situation where you get to would be if Alabama beats Georgia. No, in fact, you can't. I would say the way you could get to, if Alabama beats Georgia in like a 1-point game or like a 2-point game in 3 overtimes, then I would say you would need Michigan to lose to Iowa. You would need Florida State to lose to Louisville. You would need Washington to beat Oregon. And even then, I don't know if you do, because you still got to, I guess you would need Texas to lose to Oklahoma State, which that's like a 45-1 parlay. It's not happening. You would need Bama to beat Georgia. You would need Iowa to beat Michigan to open up a slot. You would need, it doesn't matter, Oregon or Washington's winner is going. You need FSU to lose to Louisville, and you would need Oklahoma State to beat Texas. You need every underdog to win, and then maybe I could drop Georgia down to number 4, and the Ohio State fans are going to lose their bleeping minds. I don't think it would matter.
Didn't win, don't deserve to get in. I mean, if you think differently, if they get in, yay. But they don't. I mean, you couldn't beat Michigan. Go home, regroup, get rid of Ryan Day, and get ready for next year.
Oof, well, that makes me cringe. Texas said the last ever Pac-12 game is tonight, which is insane to think about. It really is. It is. Part of the reason I got to watch it. Gator Nate texts the show. He said, I'm obviously an SEC fan, but the people that chant SEC or root for all SEC teams are delusional. All that matters is your own team. Anytime any other team from your conference succeeds, that's your school getting further and further away from a conference championship. Thank you, Gator Nate. Thank you for bringing me together with a Gator fan. Well done. Let's take a break. We're back after this. And also, Lonzo's about to kill you with a sports flash. I meant in a good way.
Yeah, guys,
like, it's gonna be killer, dude.
There will be no murder.
Killer sports flash, dude.
All right, so here we go. For the first time ever, the NFL has flexed a Monday night football matchup in Week 15. Matchup between Kansas City and New England was bumped back to Sunday and replaced by Philly versus Seattle. The 2-9 Patriots versus Chiefs matchup will now be played the day before at 1 p.m. Alabama head coach Nick Saban said yesterday that if his school's conference doesn't have representation in the college football playoffs, that it would be a disrespect to the SEC. The SEC has won the last 4 national championships and 6 of the last 9 overall. We are your home for Furman football. Tune in Saturday, that's tomorrow, as the Paladins playoff run begins. Furman takes on Chattanooga at 11:30 right here on the Fan Upstate.
The Upstate Holiday Lights Show at their new location, District Park, at the intersection of 123 and 153, is open now through December 31st. Enjoy the magic of the season with family, neighbors, and friends. For more information, visit upstatelights.com.
Stop showing it. Ugh. Derek, what are you doing, you clown?
You mean future Hall of Famer?
Not anymore. I've taken him off the list.
Wow.
It was bad. It was real bad.
One bad season, and all right, multiple bad. Well, I don't know. Okay seasons?
Like, he's okay. He's middle of the pack.
Is he like a step below game manager or above game manager? Because I think game managers actually get you victories.
We should have. We just can't score in the red zone. We had 440 yards of offense, 0 touchdowns. Do you understand how stupid that is?
It's pretty stupid. Yeah, I agree.
SC Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food service specialists, facilities maintenance, licensed mental health professionals, and more positions statewide. $7,500 to $10,000 sign-on bonuses for various positions available. The Department of Corrections has great employees.
All right, I'm going to have to look up because I don't know if Ann Arbor has an E on it. Does it?
No.
I'm going to make sure. I'm pretty proud that I don't know. That hurts. I have to look up that place. Welcome to a rainy weekend. At least it won't be as cold at night.
Yeah.
Which doesn't matter because I won't be up at night. Prefer it be warmer, when we come to work. Not as bad this morning, though.
Holla deal. Get it?
Holla.
Holla deal.
Holla, holla, holla.
Holla.
Smith and James, the first break.
10-4. I'm not even mad at it.
Well, you read what's written and put in front of you.
That is correct.
Oops. I fixed it though, kind of.
The third hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. Yeah. What up, world? Great to be with you. 2 hours of sports talk, entertainment, greatness remaining between us and the weekend. By us, I mean Lonzo and I. You people still got to work, but
Oh, wow.
Lonzo and I are going to wrap this thing up at 10 a.m. Lonzo and I are going to head over to the Fortress of Nerditude. Lonzo and I have a few daily tasks to complete. And then your boy is going to go home and take a siesta.
Yeah, I'm going shopping. But,
Like Christmas shopping?
Yeah, I got to go. It's yeah, we got to go do some stuff.
Is this a Miss Lisa idea, or this is a Lonzo idea, or this is a joint idea?
Well, we got to do it sometime. We were going to do it last night, but I prefer to go in the daylight. So it's going to be today. Yeah.
I'm the worst at Christmas shopping.
I'll say this is not shopping for her. The kids and I will get together. It was fun when they were children, and it's even more fun now as they're adults because we get together, the three of us, we head out and this time we'll get some dinner and then we'll go out and do that. So it's fun.
Let me read you a couple of texts we got during the break there that I love. Texter said, Rob is obviously talking about things that people don't care about frequently if he encounters that phrase weekly. I encounter that phrase daily. I hear that phrase all the time.
I hear it quite a bit. And I don't want to hear it, but I hear it quite a bit.
It's awful. It's not that it's awful. It's awful that so many people don't understand a basic core concept of the English language. This isn't even like a snooty, pretentious snob thing. This is just, it's real simple. All right? Texter said, I could care less that you couldn't care less about the phrase couldn't care less. Thanks, Kev.
Well done.
Thanks, Kev. Texter said, I hate one foul swoop instead of one fell swoop. Yes.
Wait. Someone says one foul swoop?
Yes, I hear that one all the time.
Dude, I have never heard anyone do that.
I hear foul swoop all the time.
That would make me do what you just did. And I am not the person to correct someone's grammar. And yeah, no. How does that even make sense? What is a foul swoop?
Oh, you sound so pretentious and snooty right now, Lonzo.
I'm trying to understand what a foul swoop is.
It's a bird. It's like a duck diving at a lake and then pulling up. It's
okay.
A foul swoop.
All right. I don't think that's what they mean, but
it's
okay.
Not. One fell swoop means to hit something with a hammer and get the job done in one fell swoop. You fell the hammer one time. Again, I will say I'm less mad about this one than I am at I couldn't care less.
I guess I don't really use either of those phrases. I could care less. I might use that more often than I don't think I've used a fell swoop before because I don't know what it is. So, I mean,
it is when you in an older
No, I understand.
vernacular.
I understand what it's for. I understand why you use the phrase. What is a fell swoop?
Like if you fell a hammer, which is to use a hammer, like in an old English, the hammer fell. Hitting something with a hammer would be a fell of the hammer. And you would get the job done in one fell swoop. Like you just got it. So if I'm going 3 different places, I'm going to knock them out 1, 2, 3. Bang! I got it done in one fell swoop.
All right. Stop going it.
6.
I
We're
am
going
so
for a
off
record
today.
this week.
And then I hurt myself hitting the button. This term was used and probably invented by Shakespeare in Macbeth, when the playwright likens the murder of Macduff's wife and children to a hawk swooping down on defenseless prey.
There you go.
Although fell here means cruel or ruthless, this meaning has been lost in the current idiom, where it now signifies sudden. I have never before used the word out loud, idiom. I feel amazing right now.
We're making Lonzo a better person today, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you're not.
We are.
I'll go back to my screet here in a second.
Texter said, all intensive purposes. Oh, up a wall, dude. That one will make me crawl up a wall, across the ceiling, and down the other wall. Intense and purposes. For all intents and purposes.
When I think intense, I think Anakin Skywalker. This is intense.
You know why you can't run through a campground? You can only ran through a campground? Because it's past tense.
That's a dad joke.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it is. We're getting you there. We're getting you there. Texter said, what about Warsh and Idea? You're just now joining the show, aren't you? Because I've been on Warsh for a while. There's no R in wash. There's not.
Yeah.
There's not an R in Warsh.
I have some family members who
So do I.
show that aren't, especially where are you going? I'm going to Washington. No, where's that at? I don't know where that is.
There's no R in wash, people. Texter said, people who say 3/4 zip instead of quarter zip. Yeah, it's a quarter zip. All right. Lamont Paris and I, big quarter zip guys. I would like to welcome Lamont Paris, the head basketball coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks men's basketball program, to the Upstate's Quarter Zip Club.
See, I just call them pullovers, and I don't.
It's not a pullover.
It is a pull.
No, it's not.
All the ones I have to pull it over to put it on.
That doesn't make it a pullover. You do pull it over, but it is a quarter zip because you can take that zipper
By
off
the way,
and have a sleeve or have a collar. It's still a pullover.
I have to be honest here, and you say that because you're always deceptive. You're the only one I've ever heard call it that. So
a quarter zip?
Yes.
You need to meet more people. It is a quarter
I
zip.
think we've established that
That is true.
I don't like people. So why would I want to meet more of them?
Texter said, people who say Rob Brown and I's when referring to a shared item of Rob Brown and mine. Yeah. That one I get. That one I understand. Mainly because English teachers threw so much at us as kids that the I versus we versus and I versus and me has kind of gotten lost, which is unfortunate. It's very important that we get these things right.
If you feel like you're fixing things today, good for you. I'm happy for you.
I'm trying to make the people of the Upstate better.
So I guess it starts with one.
It does.
And if one has been affected today, then congratulations.
Jersey Joe has decided that he is going to throw dynamite into the machine by saying, Jersey Joe says, for all intensive purposes, it's yous guys, not y'all. No, Jersey Jerry.
Why'd you call him Jersey Jerry?
Jersey Joe, sorry.
Dude.
I was so frustrated. I
Oh,
blanked on the
man.
name.
Man.
That's not true. That is because
Come at him, Joe.
back at my old station, I had a Jersey Jerry, and I was just flashing back.
Allegedly.
No, I definitely did. In fact, I got a voicemail on my phone. I got to call him back. He called me the other day. Well, I got a Jersey Joe.
Why do listeners have your
and a Jersey
phone
Jerry
number?
now?
That's weird.
Only listeners who get elevated to friend status. You come hang out with me enough at the bar when we're doing remotes and stuff, you'll make the circle. I'm a very easy guy to get along with.
What's that?
Texter says it's Jaguar, not Jaguar.
I think it is Jaguar. I do believe that's what it is.
Jaguar.
It's Jaguar.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now those may be the Jaguars, but the car is like
Jaguar.
is Jaguar because I believe. Where was it created? Where was that car created?
I don't care. If you
If
want
it was
to be
created in-
Jaguar, stick an I and an E on
If it was created in Europe, then it's probably going to have a European sound to it when you pronounce the word. We don't have to Americanize everything.
No, I agree. I'm a soccer fan, for God's sakes. I agree with you.
America.
But you don't get to just change the pronunciation of a word.
All right. April on the stream says, I hate when I hear pacifically instead of specifically. Let me be Pacific here when I say you're right.
Texter said, Rob, if I wanted to fix my elementary school grammar, I would have spent less time staring at Mrs. Rogers. Talk sports. That is
Easy.
my favorite sports comment of all time.
Ray hits it 2 days in a row. Way to go, Ray.
That's not Ray. Ray would not send a text that funny.
Oh, okay.
That is the
All right.
funniest stick to sports text I've ever gotten. That is the best stick to sports text of all time. Of all time.
You know, we're about entertainment here, and we're also trying to help the world. So sometimes you have to do a segment like this to help the world, or at least our portion of the
We're
world.
making every person listening right now is better off than they were 10 minutes ago. That's where we are. All right, we are going to talk sports in this hour of the show. In fact, we're going to talk college sports. In fact, we're going to talk local college sports in this hour of the radio broadcast, except for the next segment where Rashad Beard is going to join us. Thanks, Lonzo. Good call on the head shaking. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us in the next segment to talk Carolina Panther football. Then we'll talk some local college sports as Clemson has made a couple of coaching staff changes. South Carolina continuing to watch players go out in the transfer portal.
Clemson getting ready for the playoffs, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming they'll probably be watching it at the watching it on the big screen in the field house. Okay, you just had to make it personal, didn't you?
It's all about the setup.
I respect it. I do. Let's take a break. We'll come back with Rashad Beard next on the Rob Brown radio program and the Fan Upstate.
Smith and Davis.
All right, guys, one more live read, and then we're going to get Rashad lined up. Don't go anywhere. Rashad, what's up, fella?
What's going on, man?
How that real work for you yesterday?
Good stuff. Always good. Always fun going to the office.
I totally believe you.
Oh, man. It changes. Bringing in the gang.
Bringing in the gang?
Yeah,
He's
the gang.
sharing the thing with.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. According to IGN, Peter Griffin is going to be added to Fortnite. I only played Fortnite a couple times. It's kind of boring to me, but
I've never played it.
Peter Griffin is going to be, I mean, you know,
Never played it.
I want to see what his attacks are going to be.
Look at Rashad coming on the stream and making money on this stream. Let's go.
Shout out to Austin.
I love it. I'll tell you what, y'all super chat Rashad during the interview. I'll ask him the questions.
By the way, we still haven't used that Clemson audio yet.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
I'm encouraging it.
Bobby Petrino out handing out left hooks to Clemson for no reason at all.
Oh, there's always a reason.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. We got conference championships coming up in the land of college football this weekend, but the NFL don't stop. 6 games left for just about everybody in the league, and that, of course, includes your Carolina Panthers. And what a week it has been for the Cats. It got real busy real quick on Monday. That's not true. It got real busy Sunday when David Tepper left the locker room and was quoted as saying, oh man, I blew it. Was quoted as saying before he walked out. And then the next morning, he ends up firing Frank Reich. Here to talk about that again and the game coming up this weekend, the host of the Panther Nation podcast. He is Rashad Beer. What's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys? And shout out to my gang, my YouTube gang that came through. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, good to have the PNP Army here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and everywhere by searching and subscribing to the Fan Upstate on YouTube or the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. Let's get to it. What's up? What's up with the team? Just what's up in general?
It's a lot. The biggest thing that happened was this week was David Tepper going on his little press conference, if that's what we want to call it.
That was a disaster, right?
Yeah, it was terrible. a little bit out of touch. You know, they're trying to manage his words. You could tell he's trying to be careful without saying a lot, but saying a lot, saying too much. It's just a lot. You know, I just want to say, you know, shout out to me for ringing the alarm on where the true problems lie. Because now the entire narrative has shifted nationwide. You know, talking about David Tepper, and we knew what the problem was over here. This is not an issue with Frank Reich. Again, I applaud him for firing Frank Reich. It was not looking good. I have no problem with him firing Frank Reich, but we have a larger issue at hand. And now people are starting to talk about it. And so, you know, we've got a long way to go. Shout out to Chris Tabor for taking over. I think he's doing an excellent job considering the circumstances. Shout out to Thomas Brown, you know, for taking over play calling. We'll see how everything turns out. But, you know what I mean? As far as the 6 games left, let's just hope for the best.
You're saying that, and I get that people are talking and saying the things they need to say, but what good does it do if Tepper's not listening?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a long way to go. I think he hears it. You can tell if you pay attention to the difference between the press conferences between last time and this time. He looks like a different owner. He's not the same guy. You can tell it's kind of getting to him a little bit. You can tell when he addressed the fans, you know, immediately you read. I'm not like a huge body language guy, but when the head goes down like this immediately, and you answer the question, it's getting to him. So he knows. And I think that he's a billionaire, a little bit out of touch, but I think he knows what's going on. The fans are not happy, and we'll see. Only time will tell. We're not going to know anything over the next 6 games, but you know, as we turn the page to the offseason, we're going to see whether things are different. And if they're not, you know, we'll continue to bang the table and let them know.
What blew me away about that press conference was how many times questions got asked of David Tepper. And it's like, dude, this is come clean time, right? Like if there was a point in time, you made a decision that Panther fans by and large seem to go, cool, good step in the right direction. Now what? If there was a time to stand in front of that mic and be open and be honest and allow the Rashad Beards of the world to actually kind of see behind the curtain as to what is being course corrected to fix this program, it was in that presser. And I heard him at least 3 different times go, well, I'll leave that up to y'all to speculate. It's like, dude, This is not the time to tell us to speculate. You're in a tailspin. It is all attached directly to you, whether it's true or not. The popular thought is that this is all hooked on to David Tepper because it all started when you took over. Answer the damn questions. And while on one hand, I was like optimistic, okay, he's making changes. He's given the reins to somebody that doesn't have these lofty ambitions, somebody that's like, I just want to make the team good right now. These are all good things. But when he starts looking at the media members and going, I'll let y'all speculate on that. I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, you're not making it better right now, and you could be.
Yeah, I think that, again, he was very 10 minutes, 13 minutes press conference. You're not going to get all the answers. And again, they're trying to control the narrative. And again, he didn't do that because he's saying, hey, speculate, go speculate away. And you're starting to see, I mean, you start to see some of the articles being written. Some of the, you know, the former staffers are starting to talk. And shout out to Albert Breer, who wrote the article. A lot of nuggets in that. And we don't need to talk about that here, but if you ever get a chance, read that article, because there's former staffers talking about, hey, this guy's showing up, you know, and he's trying to help, but you're not here every day. You don't know the football, the day-to-day operations, and you're trying to make these suggestions that just you can't when you're not here every day. And again, the analytical stuff, it's a lot. I think David Tepper, again, I think, let me just be clear with this. I think he does mean well, right? I think he wants to have a winner here. Unfortunately, we said this millions of times on the show, you have to take the proper steps to do that. And I don't think he's taken, the only thing that he hasn't done, right, is the ultimate thing he needs to do. And that's back up a little bit. Step back, get some football people in the building, and let those people make the decisions and help you guide your thinking, because the analytical things that you do in your world of hedge funds can't work here. And over the past 6 years, that's what you try to do, and it's not working. So get some football people in here to help you make the right decisions.
There was a story going around after that press conference that I wanted to ask you about. There was a story that there was a point in time during the Ron Rivera regime when David Tepper first got there that he slipped a note to Ron Rivera that said, I want you, it was either changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4, from a 3-4 to a 4-3, whatever. But basically said, I want you to change your whole defensive alignment. And that says one of two things. Number one, that is a dude who is too involved. And B, a guy who doesn't understand football, because the personnel required to run a 3-4 versus a 4-3 is not something that you just bounce back and forth between the two. I heard that story. I had a couple of buddies go, Rob, is that true? Can you confirm that? Have you ever heard that? And my answer was, whether or not I can confirm it, the fact that that story is out there and it is getting picked up and discussed by major markets, at the end of the day, if nothing else, it just looks like a conflicted program. And that's a real bad look for a program that's got to hire a new head coach.
Yeah, and that story is actually, that's something we talked about, and I think we way back when it happened, like, why is he coming in here doing that? You shouldn't be telling your coach how to run his. He's a coach of the year, for goodness sakes. You can't tell him how to run his defense. You know what I mean? And so we talked about that at length when it happened, and little did we know that 5-6 years later we're going to be here in this situation where we haven't had a winning season, looking at the owner for micromanagement. Like, it's all really a full circle moment, to be honest with you. And at that time, it was just a little inkling of what we're dealing with now. And so, I don't know that story to be true. There's some people that said it wasn't true and some people that said it was true. But at the end of the day, we have way more evidence of other things that are occurring that show some micromanagement, whether it's the Bryce Young and the veto. Oh, I have veto power, and him showing up at the pro days, like all this stuff. We have, some proof that he is a micromanager and he wants to be involved. And the truth is that is not working. That he kept talking about process the entire interview or the press conference. And he needs to know that the process that he's talking about is not working. You have to find a new process. Okay. And so that's what we're talking about when we want to make him accountable and say, hey, dude, you've got to change something. What you're doing is not working. And so that's the message to David Tepper.
So I said earlier in the week that we can sit here all day and we can discuss who the new head coach is and whether it could be Thomas Brown or Ejiro Evero or somebody else outside the program. And the thought that I had initially was, it doesn't matter unless Fitterer is gone as well as the GM. But I came to the realization, Rashad, that Fitterer is really just a yes man and potentially down the line a utilitarian scapegoat for Dave Tepper, because really all the smoke we're getting says it's Tep that makes the decision. It's just Fitterer that's the guy signing the contracts on his behalf. I hate this. And this, it makes me feel sick to say, even as just a guy who covers the team, it doesn't matter who the head coach is. It doesn't matter who the GM is. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. None of that matters if David Tepper doesn't learn his lesson and back the hell up. And if he doesn't learn his lesson and back the hell up, Rashad, unfortunately, we're going to be covering a bad football team for a real long time, man.
Yeah, Rob, you hit it right on. I was thinking about that this morning, man. People are really upset at the GM. And man, you rightfully so. His drafts have not done very well. His picks haven't done very well. Some of the free agent moves he's made this offseason haven't done very well. But here's the problem, right? Do we know what the role of a GM is? Like, I think people don't know what the role of a GM is. When you step back, real NFL teams, the GM listens to the head coach. The head coach provides the guidelines of what you need. Like, this is what I need to run my particular system. Right. So when you work with a Rivera, when you work with a Matt Rule, when you now work with a Frank Reich, you have players from all different directions. Right. And that's the crux of the issue. You have all these different players that were brought in by different leadership. Right. He's doing what the head coach he's getting the players that the head coach needs to run their offense or defensive scheme. Right. And so we have a whole bunch of guys that just don't fit together. And that's what you're seeing. That's exactly what you're seeing. And I did the numbers. I ran the numbers yesterday. And I think Frank Reich has like 50% of his guys that he brought in this year. And I didn't break it down to the 53-man roster. It was the overall roster. A lot of those guys are practice squad guys. But he only has 50% of what he needed. Right? He still has guys that were from the Matt Rule regime. He still has guys from the Rivera regime. Right? There's just a hodgepodge of guys. There's just a bunch of guys that lack direction. And that's what we have with the Carolina Panthers. So until we get a GM that's on the same page with the head coach, that's brought in at the same time, they speak the same language, they're going in the same direction, like you said, we're going to be in trouble.
All right, let's take a look ahead. We got a couple minutes left here with Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Carolina on the road, got Tampa Bay this weekend. The Buccaneers are 4-7 as we continue to watch the absolute dumpster fire of a division that we play in continue to lay itself out. Tampa Bay 5-point favorite in this one at the house. You get 3 for the house, so they feel like Tampa Bay. I'll tell you this, the fact that Vegas has got, it's 5-point game, 3 at the house means they believe Tampa to be 2 points better than Tampa, kind of blows my mind. My question is not even really about the game itself between the chalk this weekend, Rashad. My question is, what's the attitude of this team look like, right? We saw what happened with the Raiders when McDaniels got let go. That team galvanized. They're still not good, but they at least galvanized to look like a football team. Might we see a team with Thomas Brown now fully and unquestionably at the offensive controls that comes out and maybe just looks like they're at least on the same damn page?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to watch. That's what my eyes are going to be on. How different will this team look? And for me, I'm a stats guy, analytics guy a little bit. And so I'm going to be comparing the offensive numbers from Thomas Brown versus Frank Reich, right? And so are we going to get a major boost, right? Is Bryce Young going to now start throwing for 250 and 3 touchdowns? Like, I'm not calling that, but it would be great to see that. Like, that would be awesome. And that would just go to show that, hey, the direction that Frank Reich was taking us was not the right one, right? And so now you're going to have Thomas Brown come in here. He's going to be able to fully implement something, not fully, because, right, they're not going to reset the entire offense. You don't do that in a week. But you're going to be able to do some things different without someone peeking over your shoulder saying, hey, you can't do that, because we kind of heard that. We kind of heard that when Thomas Brown was calling plays, Frank was over his shoulder saying, hey, you can't run that. You know what I mean? So we're going to see. I'm not expecting a full-on, greatest show on turf situation, but I do expect them to be a little bit better. And I can't wait to see it, man. It's going to be great. I do think you'll see an improved, galvanized Carolina Panthers team. I do think they're going to compete, and I think we're going to see the best from the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully we get some guys back on our defense as well. J.C. Horn, Yetur Gross-Matos, Jeremy Chin. That'll be a big boost. We'll see what happens.
How big is a win this weekend?
Oh, major. I think that's major. I think it's going to be good, especially with the division win. We've been dealing with a lot here in the Carolinas, and I think a win now would do a lot for our fandom. We need it. The Panthers need it. Panther Nation needs it, and it'd be great. It'd be great to get.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on social media at Panther Nation PC. But more importantly, make sure you are subscribed to their YouTube channel. What y'all schedule this weekend? Going live Sunday?
Going live on Sunday and then back on Tuesday. It's going to be great stuff.
It is. It always is. I jump in there every time Rashad goes live. It is good stuff. My man, appreciate you coming by, big dog. Thanks for making time on us on a Friday, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you to the PNP Army for showing up, man. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all coming by. And if you like the show, stick around. We're going to keep talking college ball with championship weekend coming up. You can search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube for that. Rashad, talk to you next Thursday, big dog.
Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.
Later on. There you go. Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joining us here. He usually joins us on Thursday, but came in, made some extra time for us here. Again, to those of y'all in the Army, you want to stick around, go to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. And we got another hour and a half of sports talk excellence coming your way. We break down the Pac-12, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and SEC championship games, all coming up right here on the Fan Upstate. Yeah, we love having Shad, man. Shad's good, people. Does a hell of an interview, knows his stuff, loves his stuff. It's great. It's great. So, again, those of y'all that come by to watch Rashad, man, you guys are welcome to stick around for more of the show. If you go to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube, and you can subscribe there. We do this every day from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Love to have you guys. A lot of college football, a lot of NFL football. Appreciate that shout out, Shad. Thank you, big dog. Zach, thank you, man. Good to have you guys. Appreciate it. I'm just trying to get on Rashad's level. That's all. Trying to be in his world. That's it. And I am on Twitter too, at the Rob Brown Show. If y'all want to toss me a follow over there, I appreciate it. Be glad to have you on Twitter. Zach, Don, appreciate y'all, man. So here's a fun update we just got. Tate Rodemaker, who got that concussion in that game last week against Florida, is out. Florida State starting their third string quarterback tomorrow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Pat had Kelsey, and I was kind of jealous.
I was hurt. Actually, you ain't never invite me over to your house like you did Kelsey. You always invited Kelsey. That's why we here where we at now.
It was almost 1 and 2, and with Tua, you are for sure 1.
I've never been anybody.
Omega Blake is going in the portal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Tyreek Hill says that he was basically the side chick in the relationship at Kansas City, and that's one of the reasons why he wanted to be out there. Ever since high school, he's always been the guy, and that Mahomes and Kelsey have such a relationship. He was the side chick, and so because of that, that's one of the reasons why he left.
I mean, they are.
He also said he left for the money.
They
but,
are definitely bros, but Tyreek left because Miami was going to pay him stupid amounts
Yeah,
of money.
yeah.
I appreciate it. It's funny. No.
Have you ever been the side chick, Rob?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hell yeah. It's the worst. It is the worst when you're it's the same as being third wheel, right? Like it's the old way of saying third, or the new way of saying third wheel. I have been the third wheel in like a bro group. It sucks.
Well, that's me everywhere. You invite me and I go, and there's like, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything.
In the corner and bowl the whole time. We're trying to get you. I will yet blossom you into a social butterfly.
No, here's the thing. You don't know that I wasn't one at one time because I am pretty old. And there are times when people go, why don't you do this? How do you know I didn't ever? I mean, I had a group of friends. We did all kinds of stuff, went all kinds of places.
Friends.
Well, when I was in Ohio, I did. It's harder to make friends when you get older. I think friendship groups are easy to make when you're a kid because it's either in your neighborhood or you're stuck with the same people in school and you either hate them or you become friends with them. So, but when you get older, especially if you were married and you had children and that was a big part of your life and now they're gone, they're still around. They're just not home. I don't know what cool is because it fluctuates from era to era. I think it would have been extremely cool in the 60s.
Alonzo's in his villain era.
Always room for a heel. It makes the hero so much better. I'm trying to think if I ever really felt like I was the bad guy. The best bad guys don't ever.
The best bad guys don't feel like that. The best bad guys have a point.
They do.
So we have a couple of breaking news stories to get for you here. Let's go with, you know what? I feel like this deserves it, Lonzo. Break the glass. We have breaking news here on the Rob Brown Radio program and the Fan Upstate. We start with the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. We are getting informed right now via War Chant, which is the rival site that carries Florida State news and information. We are getting word that Florida State may have to go with their third string quarterback tomorrow. You will remember late in that game against Florida in the Swamp last weekend, that backup quarterback, Tate Rodemaker, who stepped into the spot vacated by Jordan Travis, who had that gruesome leg injury against North Alabama in the penultimate week leading up to the conclusion of the college football regular season. Tate Rodemaker stepped in late in that game. He slid trying to gain a first down. He got popped real hard in the dome, like real hard in the noggin, and had to leave that football contest. He did return, and here's something that's very interesting, and this is something that happened in a couple of those games. Tate Rodemaker left the game because of the shot to the head. He returned a few plays later. Mike Norvell said, I talked to him. He told me he was fine. We got clearance. He was fine. He went back in the game. Now, he only went back in the game to hand off the football, but basically it was hey, we need to show that we are truly a threat to run the ball. So they put him back in there. Well, now it appears that Tate Rodemaker may not be able to pass concussion protocol. Now, we do not have any hard information or evidence on that yet. What is being reported right now is that their third string quarterback, Brock Glenn, has been apparently taking the starting snaps in practice yesterday and today. And if they are trotting him out there with the ones today in practice, the day before the ACC title game, you got to assume Brock Glenn's going to be the starter for the Noles tomorrow.
All right. Two things. One is not really a joke. One is, when did Brock become such a popular name?
Brock Glenn!
Do you think it has to do with Brock Lesnar? Because there are a lot of kids around this age with the name Brock. I'm just saying. And the other thing is, how could the College Football Playoff Committee allow Florida State to continue to be in the top four if they have a third string quarterback? That's it's unheard of. It can't be done. They need to be out of there.
Why?
Because
that's the only answer I've got.
Because it's a bad look, and because how could they're not as strong of a team as they used to be when they had their starting quarterback. So Florida State does not deserve to be there because
and neither did Cardell Jones and the Buckeyes. Should have bounced them too. I'm sorry, it won you guys a natty.
By the way, I was being sarcastic.
I know you were. But the problem is there's a problem with that, and that is a lot of people actually feel how you feel right or how you are pretending.
I know that's the whole reason why I did that whole thing. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the team is good enough to get there. It wasn't just one guy.
Joy B says Glenn is a true freshman 4-star recruit. Let's see what he's got.
Wait. Hold on. So how could the committee allow a 4-star recruit to lead a team? Yeah, exactly.
They should have the 1 seed.
Only 5 stars should be leading their program into the playoffs.
Look, it's real simple. It's 1 week, and then you're going to take them down, and then Florida State's got 2.5, 3 weeks before they play in a semifinal game, in which case Tate Rodemaker will be back. But if Brock Glenn comes out there and he cooks against Louisville, he may be they brought him here to be the future after the departure of Jordan Travis. Maybe he gets called on. Maybe he answers the bell. We'll find out tomorrow when Louisville takes on Florida State in the ACC title game. The other bit of breaking news, I don't know, do we go broken glass twice in the same segment? I think we do, right? I think we do. I think this is justifiable to break the glass. More breaking news brought to you by our friends at BetQL. Be a better, be smarter, beat the books with BetQL. Grab the BetQL app and don't forget to listen to the nationally syndicated Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4 with me, Rob Brown, and former MLB player Cody Decker.
I thought that was a baseball show.
It's an everything show now. It's an everything show. We are being told now by multiple outlets that South Carolina wide receiver Omega Blake is expected to enter the transfer portal. So the day after the juice goes bad, Omega Blake is on his way out as well, according to Gamecock Central, the Spurs Up Show, and a few different other outlets covering this team. Who the hell are they throwing the ball to next year, man? It's going to be like, bleep it, Nick Harbor down there somewhere. That's going to be the whole passing offense.
Listen, free agency opens up Monday. There's going to be some receivers available in free agency, so you just go out there and you get some other ones. School hopping starts on Monday. Where are we going next? You're taking that as disparaging. It is a little bit, but at the same time, when Beamer got there, he got a ton of players out of the transfer portal. So it's not like that's an unusual thing. And as many people have, or a few have said lately, loyalty is not a thing anymore. You go out there and get the best person available, and you go out and get the best person available. And if there are good quarterbacks out there, apparently there are a bunch jumping in there. There's probably a bunch of receivers, and you go find one or a couple.
Doesn't mean anything.
So that's the only thing he heard. That's the only part he heard.
Yes,
and I am echoing the peeps when I say that. You know, as soon as you allowed NIL, loyalty went out the window. So let it go. Loyalty went out the window. Know what I'm saying? It's a business now. Treat it like a business, like most people do. You go out and get the best available employee you can find, and there'll be some receivers out there that go find some. The guys that are losing, I think, are overrated. So I'm sure you can find someone better, or at least someone who might actually spend some time on the field because they want to be there.
Well, that's just wrong. But let's go back to the loyalty.
I am right in everything I just said.
It is not that loyalty is gone. It is that loyalty is now a two-way street. And if you want that person to stay, you should compensate them appropriately.
Loyalty is now the color green. That's all it is. It's color green. I'm not upset either way. You're upset because the word loyalty bothers you. No. You know what? I'm loyal to this station. I'm loyal.
Will you work for free next year?
I'm loyal to.
Will you work for free next year?
You want me to show you my check?
Will you work for free?
Do you want me to show you my paycheck? You think I'm joking? Do you want me to show you my paycheck? You will apologize to me if I show you my paycheck.
Work for free?
You will probably cry for me. You probably would.
The point of all this, ladies and gentlemen, is that he won't say, yes, I'll work for free, which means that his loyalty to the station is based on.
Your anger is misplaced. You're coming at me just because I'm echoing what people are saying. When it comes down to college football is not your daddy's college football anymore. It is NFL light. Deal with it. And again, you lost some receivers. So what? You can find more. There are a bunch of them out there, or there will be come Monday when everyone can say, hey, I'm available.
I do agree with that.
Hey, girl, over here. I'm available.
Deal with it. Deal with it. I love it. Deal with it. That's what I'm going to say from now on. When somebody goes, loyalty doesn't exist. All right, deal with it. Deal with it. Yes, it does, but deal with it. It's my favorite new thing.
I mean, you know what, Rob? Deal with it.
I'm just fine. I'm doing great.
You know, I'm amazing. Deal with it.
Coming up in the final hour of the Rob Brown Radio program, we are finally going to discuss a couple of things. All right. Clemson has made a couple of changes to their coaching staff. I'll tell you who they are and what I think it means for that staff. We will talk a little bit, actually not a little bit. We'll talk a lot of bit about the Power 5 Conference Championship games. 5 games, 4 playoff spots. We're going to determine this weekend who is going to play in the semis, who is going to play for a natty, and we will break down our picks, our projections, our prognostications, and we will do it next. I am Rob Brown. Lonzo's on the 1s and 2s, and on this incredibly crafted sports flash.
It's going to be awesome. Deal with it. The Dallas Cowboys kept themselves alive in the race for the NFC East last night with a 41-35 win over Seattle. Dak Prescott and Geno Smith each threw 3 touchdowns, but Seattle quarterback Geno Smith lone interception led to a Dallas win. Alabama head coach Nick Saban said yesterday that if his school's conference doesn't have representation in the college football playoffs, that it would be disrespect to the SEC. The SEC has won the last 4 national championships and 6 of the last 9 overall. For the first time ever, the NFL has flexed a Monday Night Football matchup in Week 15. A matchup between Kansas City and New England is now being bumped back to Monday so that they can play Philly versus Seattle. Good move. All right, we are your home for Furman football. Tune in tomorrow as the Paladins playoff run begins. Furman takes on Chattanooga at 11:30 right here on the Fan Upstate. Tell them, Keegan. All y'all done did this. Wasn't us, it was all y'all. So we can add loyalty to the buzzwords that bother Rob. Loyalty, urban, babies. Tim Tebow. Poor grammar. Gotta be honest, today is the first day morning fog has really hit me and now it's gone. I need therapy. Apparently making someone else upset is fuel for my soul. I'm twisted. I'm wrong.
All right. Keegan, you could have just said, deal with it.
All right, so should we break news on the fact that punter Kai Kroger is coming back? He's using his COVID year of eligibility and coming back. Wonder how much a punter makes in NIL. No, I'm serious. I mean, that's I really have that question, or a kicker rather. I wonder.
Trivia question: what's the name of the award for punters in college football?
Ray Guy.
Yeah, baby. Never a doubt.
Yeah, there was doubt. There was absolute doubt on your part.
There was not.
Gable's in first break.
Gable's in the first break. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the week, Keegan. I also told the story of my fiance throwing game at Steven Garcia and getting shut down publicly and hilariously on Twitter.
This is Cole Bryson. Are you ready for the ultimate adrenaline-packed high school football experience? Tune into the Fan Upstate every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 for the Saturday Morning Scramble. You'll get the latest scores, insight, and exclusive interviews with star athletes and coaches. Plus, I'll be broadcasting live from your local Ingles Market all season. The Saturday Morning Scramble only on the Fan Upstate 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on your phone on the Odyssey app.
Powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. When it comes to the best sports talk, listen to the Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are, in the car, at home, at work. Download the free Odyssey app on your phone. Search the
Yes, I have been told that. I'm not entirely sure.
Back when his
dating me because I look like
back when his hair was long, he did.
Back when I had the hair. That's
yeah,
also true.
I mean,
that is much more true.
I have another number 5 jersey you can borrow if you need it. I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
there was a little delay there, LA.
Oh, I hit it. It just didn't work.
The final hour of the Rob Brown radio program starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Woo! LA's tired. Woo! Rick's quiet. It's the last hour, boys.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Let's have a little fun, shall we? Kai Kroger's coming back. No transfer portal for Kai Kroger, the punter at South Carolina, using his COVID year of eligibility to come back and try one more time for that Ray Guy award. Kai was not at his top of his game this year. I think it was because he was very tired. He got used a lot this year. I think he was just exhausted. Texter says, in a text that I very much intend to read very loudly on the air, and I quote, college football is like marriage. Loyalty is huge, but both parties need to feel like they are getting something in return. A college player may love his university, but still needs a little something, something. A little something, something. You know what it means, right? In marriage, loyalty is the number one thing, but you've also got to feel like you are getting back the same loyalty, compassion, and respect that you're putting into it. Otherwise, it's a one-way relationship, and those aren't fun.
So it's not about money?
No, it's about money too.
Okay, all right.
It's about money too. Relationships are about money. Let's not pretend money's not a factor in most relationships.
Which makes it more like college football. Yeah.
Divorce is like the number one factor in divorce is money, right?
Or in some cases, the money you're going to get when you divorce someone. It
Maybe.
just depends on who you are, I suppose.
Maybe, allegedly. Texas said college football is an internship to the NFL with free education, free training, free food, free grant money, zero loyalty. I could not disagree with you more.
Wow, what a very accurate text.
Couldn't disagree more.
Wow.
I think there is
maybe someday we'll get through to Rob. I don't think we will, but we can try.
I am loyal to this job to a fault. I can be called at 3:50 p.m. on a Wednesday and asked, hey, do you mind coming up and doing 4 more hours of radio now?
That's because
and
it's
immediately did.
Your ex called you up for a booty call and you're just like, yep, let's go.
Yes, a radio booty call.
Yep, baby, I'll be right there.
I did it.
I flustered him with that.
I know, I heard that. You audibly blushed. That's adorable.
I hope Diesel heard that.
I got the call. I came up to help because I'm loyal to the job. But I will also tell you,
by the way, on behalf of management, I would like to say that we really appreciate the way that you step up when you're needed.
I know.
And that you have the capabilities that some other people don't have.
I know.
That you're able to do just about everything. And I sincerely mean that. Thank you, Rob.
I know. You're welcome. I do it because I'm loyal to a fault to where I work. But
it's not about the money for Rob.
If I get the phone call tomorrow that says, Rob, we recognize your greatness and we want you to come to whatever city and we're going to pay you $1.5 million to do radio. I love you like a brother. I'm out.
Wait. So it is about the money.
Yes.
Okay. So some collective out there decided they want you to come and play for them. You're like, forget this team. I'm heading over there.
I will still do everything I can in my past. You may call me, Lonzo, and be like, we're going to have Rob Brown on as a regular guest on the whatever is next show, and I'll do it.
Because I'll still be here.
Right.
Because if he were loyal, he'd try to take me with him.
Attaboy. See, that's the best thing you've said so far. Clemson has made a couple of staffing changes to their, coaching staff. Obviously, those were announced yesterday in a press release that was sent out from the university. Head coach Dabo Swinney announced that Lemanski Hall and Thomas Austin will not return to Clemson's coaching staff next year. Dabo said, quote, Lemanski Hall and I met and had a great conversation about his future and long-term goals, both personally and professionally. And after great thought and discussion, we came to a mutual decision for him to seek opportunities to advance his career elsewhere. I am so thankful to Ski and his wife, Leslie, and their family. Lemanski and I have been almost lifelong friends back to 1989, and he is someone I love like a brother. I'm appreciative and thankful for the impact he has had here at Clemson. Dabo Swinney also let Thomas Austin go. These are defensive line and offensive line coaches. Let me tell you why this is big news. It's not because of a coaching staff change. I mean, that's fine. That's great. That's good.
Ooh, are we going to get a vote of confidence?
No.
From whoever it is, it's over Clemson?
No.
Dabo Swinney is our coach.
He's our guy. There he is. No. What you are seeing here is you are seeing Dabo Swinney make moves away from guys that are his guys, that are Clemson guys.
So what you're saying is he's no longer loyal. And
we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
Well, what has he been known for? It's his loyalty, and now he's decided that loyalty may not win championships, and so he's going to have to let people go. I mean, there are obvious weaknesses on Clemson's team and quarterback, but I don't think either one of those coaches has anything to do with quarterback.
The offensive line was absolutely a weakness for Clemson this year, right? Specifically in the pass game, but overall, the offensive line was a problem. I would argue the defensive ends, as good as his team was, a minor problem. These are fine moves to be made. It is a couple of things. Number one, it is absolutely at a couple of positions of need, of improvement for Clemson. But that is not the big thing here to me. The big thing to me here is Dabo Swinney is doing something that is outside of the narrative, right? The narrative has been for a hot minute. Dabo hires Dabo guys. Dabo promotes Dabo guys. And what is happening is it is preventing Dabo from building the best possible coaching staff when the only way you get a job as a coach there is if you played for or have been friends for a long time with Dabo. He has just let go guys that played at Clemson, played for Dabo, have been friends with Dabo for a couple of decades at this point. He is letting those cats go in order to open up room to build out a coaching staff with more appropriate coaches in those roles. I do think this is speculation, but I think this may very well be a consequence of the Clemson fans this year, for the first time, allowing their dissatisfaction with the standing of the program get through to Dabo Swinney. This is the result of Tyler.
It's Tyler.
It's Tyler.
Why can't it be personal growth on the part of Dabo Swinney, where he realizes that sometimes you have to put all that aside and go out and find the best person for the job. And maybe that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, it's possible. Or he listens to the fans and he goes outside the box and gets someone who's not a guy and brings in someone like an offensive coordinator, and it really makes a difference. So maybe the fans are wrong. Maybe Dabo's had it right all this time. We'll find out if he brings people in from the outside and they do as stellar of a job as Garrett Riley has done. Then you're going to find out maybe the fans just need to be quiet and let the coach do his job. He won you championships by doing it his way. Let him continue to do that.
I think that you can chalk it up to personal growth if you like. That's fine.
And I agree with Roger. Dabo is so respectful and firing.
He really is.
How he fires someone. We mutually decided, no, that's not how that works. We've decided that you're no longer going to be with it, but we're going to tell everyone that we mutually decided.
That is the nicest.
Or is
you're fired.
Or is it like, Rob, you know, you can do better than this somewhere else. You know that would, and I realize that you want to work somewhere else. So let's just decide that you can go ahead and pursue your dreams, because we're holding you back here. And that's what it is. It's not that it's not that you're the one who decided that you should go, not us.
There is a benefit. We don't need to go down this road too far. I think we should keep the conversation centered here. There is absolutely a benefit to both sides to a mutual separation of ways. There is.
Mutual of Omaha. Look at the animals.
If you go through a mutual separation of ways, it obviously makes it much easier and the program looks better for it. And on the flip side, if you mutually decide to part ways, if Lemansky wants to get another job somewhere, Dabo's a reference. Yes, it stopped working here at Clemson, but that's because the program's going in a different direction. But this guy is a wonderful coach and you would be better off for having him, right? So, again, I think the news story here, and I'll be interested to see who they hire to step in and fill the role of offensive line coach and defensive ends coach. I'll be interested to see where Dabo goes here for certain, but I do think that all of the people that have been running roughshod on Dabo for bringing in Dabo guys, keeping Dabo guys, promoting Dabo guys, letting Dabo guys stay in the role for way too long, this is a step in the opposite direction. This is a step in the direction of, okay, the way that I was doing it is not working anymore. I have to deal with it. The way I have been operating this program has created a spot that not only did we not go back to the playoffs this year, but we won 8 games. We didn't go 10-2 and miss. We didn't go 11-1 and miss. We were 8-4. And on top of that, we allowed Florida State or Louisville to take the crown back in the conference.
You were about to get some text, man. You gotta
Louisville.
Oh, don't do that.
It's Florida State versus Louisville tomorrow. He realized one of those two teams is about to take the crown. First time in forever that Clemson's not at least taking the ACC title. And I think you've got to look at that and realize that the closer you are to trophies, the easier it is to get guys to come play for you, right? The closer you are to, if you are, let's say, within Florida. If you go out there and you beat Florida and Miami, as Florida State did, recruiting gets a little easier in that state. If you win the ACC, recruiting gets a little easier along the Atlantic Seaboard. If you make it to the semifinals, recruiting gets a little easier national. If you win the Natty, you're basically getting pick of the litter, right? And so I've got to think that Dabo Swinney probably looked and went, all right, every year that this happens, every year that we go this direction, my job gets harder. And while it is very hard, I've had to do it. While it's very hard to sit across the table from somebody that you like, from somebody that you respect, from somebody that you are friends with, and say, I am sorry. This is not personal. I hope it does not impact our relationship. I know good and gosh darn well that it will. I hope it doesn't, but I have to let you go. Unfortunately, this just isn't working anymore, and I've got to let you go. And Dabo just did that not once, but twice. So this actually does kind of perk my ears up a little bit. I am going to start paying a little bit of attention to who fills these roles, right? Because if he goes out and he grabs a top-notch prospect at defensive end coach, at offensive line coach, then I got to look and go, uh-oh, he learned. He got it. He evolved. He's taking the next step forward. And maybe, just maybe, it's not quite time to write Clemson out of the picture just yet, because all of the wonderful aspects of Dabo Swinney as a coach are now going to be surrounded by not yes men, by not Dabo guys. He's going to be surrounded by guys that are going to look and go, Coach, that ain't going to work. right? And you got to wonder if that has an impact. I am still in the school of thought that I don't believe Garrett Riley was ever given 100% control of the Clemson offense this year. I don't think he was ever given the playbook in the headset and told, go do your thing, young man. I think there was always a bit of interference. If this is truly Dabo learning the shortcomings that held you back to 8-4, and you come to the offseason and you work the portal a little bit, and as Daddy-O pointed out on the stream, you tell a couple of Dabo guys, it's not you, it's me, but you got to go. And you bring in outside coaches to fill those roles, guys that aren't going to step in and feel an undying loyalty to Dabo Swinney that forces them to be yes men, then maybe, just maybe, next year at this point in time, we'll be talking about a Clemson FSU rematch in the ACC title game. We'll see. Let us take a break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back here in just uno momento, let's take a gander at all 5 conference championship games, and let's pick some winners, put them on the board, and see, based on the winners I pick, based on the winners Lonzo picks, what we predict the playoff picture will look like. We'll do that next on the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
All right, guys, one more quick break, and then we're coming right back. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, according to Bleacher Report, Shannon Sharp brushes his teeth 7 to 10 times a day. Says he goes through a whole tube of toothpaste each week.
That's
Excessive.
I think you could actually harm your teeth. Who says that?
Bleacher Report.
No, about who?
Shannon Sharp. Thank you for almost listening.
I didn't. You said it real fast, and I wasn't tuned in.
It was my northern accent. I apologize.
Yes, your very northern accent.
Although my accent may have some slight southernism in it now, it's still very much Ohio. If I hear someone talk, I know they're from Ohio when they're from Ohio. Same with Michigan, because they practically sound Canadian. Panthers OC Thomas Brown said the key to offense the next 6 weeks would be to just relax and cut it loose. Just hang loose, dude. Do what comes natural. Which is apparently losing. Wow, Goat Simulator 3 is coming to Game Pass, so they've made 3 of those.
I'm gonna end up.
I played the first one a little bit just because Chris and my daughter both like this.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
I'm
You
gonna
can't.
end up putting down some whiskey and downloading it. Is what's gonna happen.
What improvements could you possibly make?
Oh,
on
Ghost
that?
Simulator.
Yeah,
I really need to. I need to.
maybe better ragdoll physics. I don't know. I just realized it's 9:23.
Sure is.
That has no significance other than it's 9:23. That's me, James. I ain't going home though.
All right, let's make some picks, predictions, previews, and prognostications regarding conference championship weekend in the land of college football, shall we? And we will start with Louisville taking on Florida State in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship.
You know, Rob, I
football
couldn't
contest.
care less about this game. I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm sorry I revisited. Come on, man. Even with the third string quarterback, FSU should win this game handily.
So I'm interested in this game. I really think there's a better than decent chance for an upset here, right? Do we think all the favorites are winning this weekend?
More than likely, yes.
Okay.
Even though we want the chaos.
I do want the chaos.
Yeah, I mean, except for tonight, because I think you said Oregon,
Washington.
Well, I
Oregon's
guess
favored by 9.5. That's a
Wow.
big number, dude.
Wow.
That's a real big number. I might be throwing some scratch the way the Huskies tonight. We'll see. Let's start with the ACC. We'll come to the Pac-12 here in just a minute. I am gonna go with Florida State to win this game, but I think it is gonna be wildly uncomfortable. We got the news earlier this morning that Brock Glenn, who is the third string quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles, Brock Glenn has been taking snaps with the first team offense the last few days of practice. Tate Rodemaker, of course, took that shot to the head against Florida. He may be unavailable. Look, Louisville is coming off of a disappointing performance against Kentucky. Louisville is very difficult to run the ball against. They are 15th nationally in yards allowed per play. Louisville's defense is a run stuff defense. The teams that have beat Louisville, like Kentucky, are teams that have been able to throw the football. I don't know how well even with Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, etc. I don't know how well Florida State can throw the football with their, at best, second string and potentially third string quarterback trotting out with the starting 11. I'm going to pick FSU for one reason and one reason alone, and that is Trey Benson. In that game against Florida, Florida was doing everything they could to remove Trey Benson from the equation, and it did not work. Louisville's going to have a hard time doing it too. Give me FSU in this one. In the Big Ten, Iowa plus 23 in this game. It's been hovering between 22.5 and 23 with a push on the table all week. Look, I think you got to pick Michigan here. But here's why this game could be very interesting. The over-under in this game is set at 35. That's real low for a conference championship game. Iowa's team totals, though, is set at 6.5. Vegas isn't sure they're going to score a touchdown. Here's why I like this game. These are two very slow, run the ball 50 times, ball control style offenses. Washington, Oregon might legitimately take 4 hours to play. Iowa, Michigan might be over in an hour and a half because the clock's never going to stop between these two teams. You've got to pick Michigan to win. But if you get two very slow, grind the ball, ball control offenses, this is where I feel weird. This game feels weird to me.
Yeah, the Big Ten championship was already decided last week. I would love for Iowa to win because that would just be awesome, and I would laugh and laugh and laugh and then laugh some more, but it ain't going to happen. Michigan's going to win this game. Don't want them to. Not going to cheer, despite what someone on the stream.
B1G. B1G.
Joe, you're just crazy, and you're trolling. Ain't nobody in Ohio rooting for Michigan.
Here's the problem.
Stop that.
Here's the problem.
Just stop it.
Here's Joe's point. There actually is one scenario where the Buckeyes have a greater than 80% chance
they
to make
don't
it into the
deserve
playoffs.
to be in the playoff. They couldn't beat Michigan. If they do, I will cheer for them. They don't deserve to be there. If you want to be there, beat the team in front of you. They didn't do it. If you have to root for your arch rival to win in order for you to accomplish something, you're a sad person.
Well, then he will go with the entire state of Ohio.
You don't speak for Ohio. I do. No.
There is one possible outcome where the Buckeyes have an 80+% chance to make it to the playoffs. It's entirely chaos. It is zero chalk at all.
Just because it happened last year doesn't mean it's going to happen this year. There are too many other good teams with 1 losses. Ohio State is not getting in. If Michigan were to lose, again, I want to reiterate, I know I didn't say this enough. I will laugh, but it's not going to happen.
Oklahoma State takes on Texas in the Big 12 championship game. This is a tough matchup for the Cowboys. Why? You cannot run on Texas. Texas is an excellent running team. They do not allow you to run. The Longhorns allow, listen to this number, 2.8 yards per carry. One more time, 2.8 yards per carry. Oklahoma State is a team that wants to be able to run first. I don't know if they can do it against Texas. Here's the thing. If Texas wants in, while they have the head-to-head win against Alabama, and that should be the number one defining conversation we are having, there is still a very large group of people who believe that Alabama is better than Texas today, and therefore Alabama should jump Texas. There's a very easy way for Texas to minimize that threat, and it's go beat the Pokes by about 40 in this one. I think you are going to see a relentless Texas. And listen, I don't think that they are the same team without Jonathan Brooks, their 1,000-yard rusher who was 3 weeks left in the season at a K on the board in the rushing category. I do think they are still very, very good. I am all over, and I don't do this often, I am all over Texas minus 14.5. It's my riskiest bet of the day, but I think Texas, knowing that if they want in, they may need style points if Alabama beats Georgia. I think Texas is going to work Oklahoma State.
All right, so it'd be very boring if we picked the same winner for everything. And earlier on, you talked about having feeling. If you just have a feeling about something, I got a feeling about this game, and I got a feeling that Texas is going to want it so much that they burn out, and Oklahoma just slowly eats away at them, and they win the game.
The funniest possible thing to happen tomorrow is Michigan losing. The second funniest possible thing is Texas losing, because the existential crisis that would take place amongst all those wearing burnt orange would be hilarious.
This game really, I mean, other than winning the championship for a conference, it doesn't mean anything, because if all the teams in front of you win, you're not going anywhere anyway.
Right, but Oregon, Washington is a spot. Winner of the Pac-12 championship tonight's getting a spot. Do we disagree on that? I don't think we do.
No, we do not.
I don't think we do. I don't think anybody does. There's going to be an upset. I think Florida State is the most likely victim. If Florida State goes and the winner of the Pac-12 is in, by default, I think they are, there is one spot available. Texas has the heads-up win over Alabama.
All I know is if it's not the SEC, it's very disrespectful.
Texas will have the heads-up win over Alabama, and you will not be able to rank Georgia ahead of Alabama when they literally lost 2 days before that, which means in the world that I live in, unless Alabama beats the hell out of Georgia and Texas barely survives Oklahoma State, and even still, I don't see how you can overrule a head-to-head win. There is a chance Texas can miss out. They've got to bring it this weekend. Oregon, Washington tonight. The Ducks are a 9.5-point favorite in this one. I have been telling you since week 7, the Oregon Ducks are the most complete team in football. I like Washington a lot. I think Michael Penix Jr. is the second best quarterback in football this year. I think he's above Bo Nix, but behind Jaden Daniels. That being said, the Ducks are just better. The Ducks are just better. I don't know that I'm ready to go cover 9.5 points better, but that is all over the number. They are going to be all over that number. I'm thinking it's a somewhere between 8 and 10 point game when it's all said and done.
This is a part where I pretend like I know something about either team, and I do not, because they come on after 10 o'clock and I'm in bed because I'm old and I have to get up really early. So this really comes down to me trusting in the guy across from me, telling me what team is better, and Vegas telling me what team is
the
better.
Ducks are better.
And so I'm going to go with Oregon here because their uniforms are better.
And we wrap it up with this. They are the Southeastern Conference Championship game, the University of Georgia. This line is at minus 5.5.
Roll Tide.
Look, Alabama is good. Alabama is not Nick Saban perfect. There are still some things. Listen, I know it's the Iron Bowl, and I know that the Iron Bowl very frequently produces weird results, even if the two teams are a goal between them.
How confident are Georgia fans? This year you didn't hear them talking the way they were last year.
No, you did not.
How confident are they that they're going to win this game? We've got Georgia fans, at least on the stream. I know we got a couple. How confident are you that you're going to beat Alabama?
I have not heard, not a lot of barking on the streets this year. Okay? They had some close ones. They had some close ones last year too. I like Georgia. I think Georgia's good. Does this not feel like a Nick Saban legacy game? Does this not feel like a game that goes down into the Nick Saban? When Alabama inevitably builds the Nick Saban Museum next to the Bear Bryant Museum that sits across the street from Bryant-Denny Stadium, does it not feel like this is a game that would have a big poster board blow up on the front door of the Nick Saban Museum if he's able to win.
All right. He believes without a shadow of a doubt he's going to win this game. That's why he said what he said. He believes that Alabama is going to win this game and that there's going to be an argument why they shouldn't be in there. He wouldn't have said anything if he didn't believe without a shadow of a doubt that they're going to beat Georgia. By the way, I agree with him. They're going to beat Georgia. Georgia has been barely winning all year. They shouldn't be at number one, and Bama wins this game.
I think it is hilarious, hysterical even, that a minute ago you said, hey, it's going to be boring if we pick all the same picks. And yet you have picked my upset pick. This is my upset pick.
I thought me picking Oklahoma over Texas was an
okay.
upset
That's
pick.
it too, but that's just ludicrous. That was you just reaching for entertainment value, and I appreciate it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I like Mike Gundy. He's a man. He's
way
50, he's like 54 now.
He's way past
Yeah.
40 now. I'm gonna go with 52.
Now I have to look now. Mike Gundy, born in 1967, is 56
All right, he's
years
56.
old.
He's older than me. Wow.
I'm a man.
We both men.
I'm 56. So anyway, I am going to go here with Alabama in the upset. This is, to me, without a doubt, a Nick Saban legacy game. It does feel to me like if Nick Saban loses this game, Kirby Smart will officially supplant him as the face of the Southeastern Conference. I think the players on Alabama's sideline know that. I think the coaching staff knows what this game means, and I think Georgia does too. But I think this is going to be, scratch that. This is the best team Alabama will have played all year. I think they're going to win this game. I think it's going to be real close. I think it's a last possession walk-off field goal kind of win. But I think Alabama is going to win this game. So I am going Oregon over the Huskies. Zoe is as well. I'm going Texas over the Cowpokes. Zoe going the opposite. I'm going Michigan over Iowa, though I think that game's going to be wonky. I'm going Knowles over You said you were going FSU in that one as well?
Yes.
And we are both going to Alabama to upset Georgia in the SEC championship game. Texas said barely winning. Georgia beat both common opponents by more, Ole Miss and Tennessee.
There they are. That's not really a bark though. That's kind of that's kind of like that, that quick bark to let you know that we're still here type thing.
I respect it. I like it. I respect it. Listen, I understand that. I understand that. Transitive property of football is dangerous. I have told you over and over and over and over and over and over again. Who's that? What song is that? Over and whatever. Point is,
I don't think you're like singing it right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over and over again. I think about you over and over again.
It sounds like something.
It's like a boy band song
by the Ramones.
No.
I don't know.
Son of a gun. Now I'm not going to be. Oh, it's Tim McGraw and Nelly.
I'm glad I didn't know that.
Tim
Thank
McGraw
you. Country.
And Nelly.
Not country.
Attaboy, Keegan. Keegan came through in the clutch with us. Anyway, I think that
Tim McGraw's got a crooked neck.
What?
You haven't seen him wear his hat? It's like this. His head always has to be forward when he wears. Maybe his hats are too heavy. I don't know.
I mean, they are 10-gallon hats.
You haven't noticed that? His head's always okay. Anyway,
I don't think I have. All right, so yes, I agree. But transitive property of football is dangerous, and I will also say that unlike Georgia, well, that's not true. I think Georgia got better week to week. But I've been saying, I don't think from week 6 till now that there is a more improved team in the nation than Alabama. I think there are some very improved teams, but I think Alabama from that game on the road at South Florida is a dramatically different team than the one that you are catching this Saturday afternoon in the ATL. Let's take a break. When we come back, we wrap up the week of broadcasting. I am Rob. He's the great one. You're listening to the Rob Brown radio program on the Fan Upstate. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Come on, no Marty Robbins here, no Tim McGraw here. The only reason why I know that's Marty Robbins is because he had a K-Tel album. Him and Caboose Willie or Caboose, I can't remember his name. That's going to bother me. Is it Caboose Willie? What is it? Steamboat Willie? No. What is it? How in the world do you spell caboose? What was that guy's name?
Owen.
No, Willie. It had something to do with the train. I wanted to say it was, who also had a K-Tel album that was out at the same time that the Marty Robbins albums were out. No. He did a cover of Mule Train.
Boxcar Willie?
Boxcar Willie, that's him. There we go.
The Wabash Cannonball?
I told you it had something to do with the train. Boxcar. I wonder if I can get Boxcar Willie on my Spotify. I'm not going to, like any of it. I just want to know if you can get it or not. Hope I don't get any emails. I'll just shut everything down. Forget it. Done. Finished.
Benito.
I've gotten too animated. My face feels like it's on fire. It's not good. Thank you, Lynn. But Rob actually got it. He remembered. He probably had that K-Tel album.
I never had a K-Tel album.
Do you remember
I don't
K-Tel?
know if I've ever seen a K-Tel album.
It's you could get them with COD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a compilation album, a best of album that they used to have those like Hey Soul Records and stuff like that back in the 70s, early 80s. I know you weren't around then.
I was not.
That doesn't mean you're also into,
In the 70s, I was not yet a glimmer in my father's eye.
Wonder if your mom ever owned a K-Tel album.
I'll ask her.
Did Boxcar Willie, was he actually a singer who had hits?
Wabash Cannonball. It's the only one I know.
Would you go to a Boxcar Willie concert? He's probably dead now.
I was going to say,
He's
probably not.
He's probably dead. Wonder if there's a Boxcar Willie tribute band. Well, now I got to type it in just because,
Let's do that audio here. So earlier this week on the radio program, we talked about the hiring of Bobby Petrino at Arkansas and how it made Arkansas kind of look, what's the word I'm looking for here? Pathetic. kind of made him look real pathetic. Well, Bobby Petrino did his old introductory presser yesterday, and because the mainstream,
Why does an assistant coach do that?
because it's Bobby Petrino.
It's just weird.
Because he's the one who got hired and is the embarrassing hire that has to address the crowd and win over the Arkansas fans and media.
It's like a backup quarterback having a press conference. I mean, who does that?
So Bobby Petrino went to the mic, and because the mainstream media is totally ignoring the Michigan sign stealing scandal, they asked Bobby Petrino about the Michigan sign stealing scandal and what he thinks it means about what it says about college football. And pay attention, fans of Los Tigres, because you're catching a stray from Bobby Petrino.
I honestly didn't pay any attention to it. But I do know when you went and played Clemson that they were going to have your signals. They had guys on the sideline standing there with the sheet of paper with your signals on it. And that was tough. And, you know, the SEC and the ACC and have talked for years about, you know, putting the piece in the ear. And one of the issues that you always have in the NCAA is everybody has a vote.
I'm just, who's watching Cartoon Network in the background? That's what I want to know.
Right. Where is this press conference? Where is this press conference being done? A daycare. Actually, you probably should put Bobby Petrino in somewhere that they can keep an eye on him, now that I think about it.
So Clemson steals signs, according to Bobby Petrino. Cheaters.
So the discussion is ongoing here as to what exactly Bobby Petrino meant by this, right? Because it is not illegal to stare across the sidelines and try to decipher the signs of your opponents. It is not illegal to watch them play on television and try to see if you can pick anything up with the big screen. It is not illegal to have people on your facility get game film of the opposing team. Pwned.
I can't even.
There's nothing to make that funnier.
I can't. No, I can't.
To get game film of your opposing team for the next weekend and to see what you see. The only thing that is illegal is advanced scouting, is sending people to the stadiums, to the games of who you are playing upcoming to see what you can figure out. You can't do that. Michigan did that. And Bobby Petrino did say at the end, I think we should be moving on to established and allowed headset technology.
Take the final step and become the NFL.
Sure.
Well, they're just a couple steps away from that.
Saban wants it. Smart wants it.
It would be better if they did that.
100%. It would be better if they did that. Without a doubt.
Michigan still should be in trouble. But yeah, they should do that in the future.
You broke the rules. Even if the rules change in the future, you still broke the rules. So, with all of that being said, Bobby Petrino says, you knew when you played Clemson that there was a dude on the other sideline who had a sheet with all your signals on it.
Where are you at, Tyler? You need to call in to the call in. Does he have any more of those? Because they're not in the playoffs, so are they still doing those shows?
Where are you at, Ty?
I don't know if they're still doing the call-in show. Maybe they do one more to wrap up the season. If so, Tyler, you need to call in and ask Dabo if that's true.
Where are you at, Ty? It's Tyler. Listen, I from what I understand, because I asked a couple of people about this when I heard this audio yesterday, and I started kind of paying attention to it. I talked to a couple of buddies of mine that obviously have been Clemson fans and around the program for a very long time. And what I got told was Brent Venables was disgustingly meticulous in his preparation for a game. And so him staying in front of a TV for hours and hours and hours with game film, trying to pick apart signals, they said that is very in character for him. That is very in character for Brent Venables, and it does not shock them at all that would be the case. So I don't think that this is Bobby Petrino throwing accusations at Clemson so much as this is Bobby Petrino saying, if you try hard enough, you can find coaches who steal signals and know them going into a game. And that's why we should go to Helmet Mike.
So he just specifically threw it at Clemson because it was just the first team that popped into his mind. That's what you're saying?
I'm sure it is based on my conversations with people. I'm sure it is because, as aforementioned, Brent Venables being incredibly meticulous in his preparation was probably very well known for going through game film and figuring out what meant what, right? Like, for instance, if you touch both heads to your head, that might mean a screen. If you slide your hand down your arm, that might mean an ISO run. If you do this and touch your fist to your elbow, it might mean you're a dork virgin. You know, there are different signals that mean different things.
Well done.
You like that? Throw one more straight A&M on the way out the door. That's what we do here. Oh, we should also do this on the way out the door.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, time to find out what the X is going on because Rob knows. The first thing that's Xing yo is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Got nothing. Birthday?
No. So according to
I did see this.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and
I
say
don't
it.
want it at all.
All right, we'll go ahead and say it anyway. Because the fact that you're acting that way means it is what it is.
WWE has put on the table allegedly that a CM Punk v Stone Cold Steve Austin match could take place down the line. My question is,
I do want to see this. I absolutely want to see it because I want to see a mud hole walk dry. That's what I want to see.
Stone Cold's going over Punk for a second. You think that
you don't
You're
bring
gonna
it.
watch an
Dude,
idol fall.
How many times have you seen Stone Cold? He's only come back like once or twice. When he comes back, he just stuns everybody and leaves. That's what the match with Kevin Owens was excellent. That should be his final match. But if he's going to come back for CM Punk, he ain't going to let him win. They ain't going to do that. There might be some outside interference, something like that.
And Austin square off in the ring circle. CM Punk is not losing to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I refuse to hear that from you, Rob Brown. I refuse.
Okay.
So much so I'm moving on to something else. The next thing that's Xing is Joe Flacco.
So the Cleveland Browns lost Deshaun Watson for the season. They went to Dorian Robin-Thompson. And then they lost, I don't know if they lost him or they benched him, and they got this guy and that guy. And Joe Flacco has now showed up. And not only has Joe Flacco showed up, but the rumor on the NFL dirt sheets right now is that Joe Flacco may get some PT, a start coming up. So, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me throw one more in because it's important to you.
I wanted to make a Is Joe Flacco elite joke, but
okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
GTA 6 is trending.
Trailer out? Is the trailer out?
It's December 5th. The trailer is supposed to come out December 5th.
I want it so bad. Give me my GTA 6, even though it's going to be on a console that I don't own and can't afford yet. That's it for us, kids. Have a wonderful championship weekend. Enjoy the football. It's the last real football you get until after the new year, so go have a ball. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. We'll see you back here on Monday to do it all over again for Lonzo. I am Rob. See you on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah.
It wasn't breaking news. It's speculation. So I can't break the glass on Steve Austin because it's not, confirmed. We only try to do that on confirmed. So that's the reason why I didn't do that, James, or whoever it was. Was it James?
Whoever it was.
No, I did like several people on there, right? Oh, Joe, my bad.
Way to go, Lonzo.
Yeah, well, you know what? Screw it. I'm going home or to the office, and then I'm going home.
Brian Danielson was on Maggie and Perloff today.
What's that?
Nothing. Never mind. All right, dudes and dudettes, you guys are spectacular people. I greatly appreciate you being here every day. Tell your friends about us. Have a wonderful weekend. If you will be at the Teddy Bear Toss for the Swamp Rabbits tomorrow night, I'm working it. Come find me. Love to meet you and say hello. If not, see you Monday. Goodbye.